Over time, Tunisia still under the 1,000 case mark. Niger 657. Looking into other parts of West Africa. Interestingly, yesterday we saw the island of Reunion at just 385. They've risen to 410 this morning. Mauritius at 328 with 9 deaths. Just looking at that area of Africa. Kenya, 296 deaths with an additional 15 cases yesterday. Somalia, 286. Tanzania, 254 cases. So we have an steady increase. Rwanda at 150 cases, remember, and no deaths. We saw out of Tanzania yesterday that now, again, the president is calling for 3 days extended prayer to deal with what is going on now.
Someone was saying, I hope it doesn't take offense. They're likening John Pombe Magufuli to Kinjeketile Ngwale.
Mm-hmm. So we hope who doesn't take offense in this case.
Kinjeketile Ngwale. Remember the Majimaji rebellion? Mm-hmm. And the people were told, don't ignore what these white people are doing. Ignore what these people are doing. Their bullets will not kill you. And so they were told that because they've been treated with whatever Kinjeketile Ngwale treated them with, they're not going to get wounded or killed or maimed by any bullet from any gun.
And they believed.
And so, yeah.
They did. And
so
unfortunately, they died in droves.
And they died with their belief.
But the rebellion took place.
And
there was pushback.
And it brought about change.
It was pushback and it brought about change.
It's interesting to see that around the continent, there are pockets of countries that have the same numbers of infections. If you look at the islands off of Africa, the same the same numbers. And then if you look at West Africa, again, some of the same numbers in the 600, 700 number there. I mean, and then you look at other parts of West Africa from Benin to Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, again, 54, 50, 50s. So, and then you look at Northern Africa and they're in the 2000s, the 3000s, around the same. So I thought that was interesting because there's certain bits where you'll see Zimbabwe, Angola, Botswana with 28, 24, 20 cases, Malawi with 18, Namibia with 16.
Also the days since the first case was reported. I think Egypt is in the day number 46 or
yes.
that,
Egypt
right?
was amongst the first.
Yeah, so day number 46 for Egypt, 3,000. And then you may find that some of those countries in Western Africa, the Benin.
Benin.
Those are probably
same country as Benin.
Yes.
Benin is in Nigeria. Yeah.
So Benin is a country.
Yes.
Okay. Some countries I'm seeing they have 0 cases. The Comoros and Lesotho.
Where we need to take a little care with these numbers is for the numbers to actually be understood comprehensively, you need other supporting data. For instance, what percentage of your citizenry have been tested? Let's start there.
Yep.
Because it's in the testing that you actually get to understand the proliferation of this particular menace. So, if you've tested 1% of your population and you're telling us that you have 3 people who've tested positive, then we say, okay, out of the 1%, we have 3. A country may say they have 700, but they have tested 50% of their country, of their citizenry. Now, those numbers will give you more information about the spread of that particular disease.
That's good because like a country like Western Sahara, I read just yesterday that there is no government mandated testing. But I mean, like what you have here in the Ministry of Health per se. But I mean, this could also be lent to by the fact that in terms of government systems, they're not really, up there as what you would ask for. However, they only have 6 cases.
And 0 deaths.
And 0 deaths. And these 6 cases, of the 6 cases that were found, 4 of them were tested in other countries, and then they now came home.
After they came home having already been tested.
Yes.
To recuperate.
Yes. So, I mean, 2 of them, we don't know, it's the government mandated testing is not going on in any way shape or form. So, I mean, it could be, just like you're saying, it could be many more people walking around with this virus, and because they're not being tested, of course, it's not going to translate into the numbers.
You really do need to do that, because what happens if you keep it just as mentioning numbers, then there is some hope that actually may be based on a false premise. That you're giving the picture that this is a country which has not been touched by the menace and people are fine. And in the absence of this additional information, what you're dealing with is actually incomplete.
Yeah.
Yes. And it doesn't actually give you a true picture. Remember, again, if testing is voluntary, you will have the same situation, because you will only know the test results of those who have volunteered to be tested. Again, I go back to my comparison with HIV and AIDS, which was the testing was still voluntary. So you'll find in some places the importance that was given to the issue of testing was more than others, because the prevalence was already high. And they could tell. So areas that didn't have what you considered prevalence, probably because not many people had been tested, it was assumed they didn't have an HIV problem. Only later on, when testing had gone to those areas, to realize, the reporting, of course, was that, there's a resurgence of the disease. In reality, they were now getting the true picture. It wasn't that there was a resurgence. Not enough testing had been done before. Now it was being done, and you are finding all sorts of things. For instance, you would find reports, even with HIV, in the western part of the country, that, yes, the prevalence was high among fisher folk, and you'd say it's been going down. Then you went to other landing places, other beaches, which previously had actually not been touched. And you found you were dealing with a prevalence of something like 60%. Meaning, yes, it may appear like it was a small place, but you realize this place people had never been tested.
Yeah, and almost everybody now here is positive.
Almost everybody is positive. So now you're looking and you're saying, okay. And you know why you know this? Because you test in the daytime. Fisher folk work at night. So you start testing at night. Until you said, are these test kits okay?
Because
no, you start getting alarmed by the numbers. You come the following night, it's still high, and you wonder, goodness gracious me, and we miss this pocket. So all I'm saying is, if we were to learn from what we've seen before with the one pandemic that we've had in this country and still is with us, is that this testing must be emphasized and emphasized and emphasized, because it is what will give us the true picture. And it's not just for Kenya, but even countries on this particular continent who aren't testing. See, South Africa have understood it, because they were ravaged by HIV. So they are testing you. And it's door to door to door to door to door. You're not escaping it.
They're doing rapid testing.
Yes, but they're also using the same structure they use for HIV. The resources there, they're utilizing it. And they're testing. So if you look at their numbers, they've put themselves in a pole position to deal with this COVID-19 effectively. When they talk numbers, it's real. They know.
They know.
Yes.
They know who has it. They know where the prevalence areas
are.
They know what to institute other measures. Great. So we'll be taking a look at the headlines shortly. Before we do that, and as we get into this short weather commercial break, C.T. Muga, Wednesday, today's proverb.
This is a proverb that some people may find offensive, but it's a proverb. It says, by the time the fool has learned the game, the players have dispersed. By the time the fool has learned the game, the players have dispersed.
It's very unfair.
The tag...
For the fool.
Well, yes. I want to focus on why the person who seems to take his time, maybe cautious in doing things, is being referred to here as a fool. Because sometimes you may think you've got the right handle of it and you've dispersed, and yet this person whom you're calling a fool is the one who's actually the smart one. Because they are patient. They are not going to run just because everybody else is running in that direction. They're going to take their time. Yes. What seems to be implied here is that there are people who deliberately take their time and they're never in a hurry to do anything. They figure, what the heck? See, it's going to happen. Why am I rushing? And yet, the opposite of that is also equally true and equally potent. Yes. There are many situations.
Those who are slow to catch on.
Yes. They are reported as being slow, and sometimes all they're doing is being cautious.
Or maybe they're just being slow.
Or maybe they're just being slow. The third one, or maybe they're just slow.
Or they're just slow. Right. Where is this from?
This is one of those proverbs they call an African proverb. When you look at the origin, it is African, meaning it's a proverb that appears in very many African communities. They may phrase it differently, but they're saying the same thing. Yes.
At 6:15, this is the Situation Room. It's Kenya's biggest conversation. Shortly, we'll be looking at what's been covered in the headlines this morning of the newspapers, and we'll be delving deep into some of those stories. Good morning. Let's take a look at weather, and then the conversation continues.
...24/7, around the world, non-stop. This is Spice FM. Classic soul, R&B, smooth jazz, neo-soul, and nostalgic ballads.
Make some noise. Yeah!
You're listening to Spice FM.
All right, it's a rainy morning in Nairobi today, mostly cloudy conditions and showers to continue for most parts of the morning. At 16 degrees, we'll see highs of 24 and lows of 15. In Nyeri at 16 degrees, it's mostly cloudy today. Cloudy conditions likely to carry on through most of the day with thunderstorms forecasted for the afternoon. Highs of 24 and lows of 16. Nakuru is cloudy this morning. At 15 degrees, showers will come in very early. Highs of 24 and lows of 14. Taking a look into Eldoret, it's cloudy conditions at 13 degrees. It's going to be really cool today. Lows of 12 and highs of 21 with showers expected in the afternoon. Kisumu at 20 degrees is cloudy. The rains continue to pound down. Highs of 26 and lows of 20. Mombasa at 27 degrees is cloudy. Showers expected to kick in early. Highs of 31 and lows of 26. It's cloudy in Malindi at 27 degrees. 31 degrees the high and lows of 26 today with showers through most of the day. We'll take a look into East Africa and the conditions seems to be the same. Mostly cloudy conditions in Kampala at 19 degrees. We'll see highs of 25 and lows of 18 with scattered thunderstorms forecasted for most parts of the day. 24 degrees in Dar es Salaam. It's clear skies this morning, but it'll cloud up later. Highs of 31 and lows of 24. Taking a look then into Johannesburg at 9 degrees. It's clear skies and sunny conditions all through. Highs of 23 and lows of 9. In Lagos, it's already light thunderstorms this morning. Early at 26 degrees. Highs of 33 and lows of 25 with the rain staying throughout the day. London is clear at 9 degrees this morning. We'll see a high of 19 and lows of 8. And in Paris, it's 14 degrees, a warm day and clear skies. Sunny conditions all through. Highs of 24 and lows of 10. We'll finish it off in the Big Apple at 6 degrees. It's clear skies all through in New York. Highs of 15 and lows of 2.
Mature, intelligent talk
The live
every
stream is
morning.
up. You can join our live stream and watch us on www.spicefm.co.ke. Watch us as well on Spice FM KE Facebook. You can tune in to YouTube. Log into YouTube and watch us on Spice FM KE. That's our channel. And also, if you would like to see us on Twitter, we are also live streaming there. Spice FM KE is our Twitter handle, at CT Muga, at Nduoko, at Eric Latif. Shall we take a look at newspaper headlines? What do you have, Ndu?
On the front page of the Standard, broken promises and a not too happy looking CS Mutahi Kagwe. 40 days after the country recorded the first case of coronavirus, Kenyans want tangible solutions to win this war. Time is running out, they say. And number one, coronavirus requires a clear roadmap to contain a daily ledger of infections and deaths are not enough. You need to tell us a lot more, is what Kenyans are saying. Don't just tell us the numbers. Don't just tell us the number of people who have died. We need more. Procure kits for mass testing to estimate the scale of the pandemic and the appropriate responses. Medical workers are the country's biggest asset. They must be protected and rewarded appropriately. Where is the money and other resources mobilized from Kenyans and donors to fight the pandemic? And all this donor money that's coming in, what is it for, and are there conditions attached? Public goodwill is priceless. Give Kenyans hope and not fear for the future. So Kenyans are demanding, according to the Standard, quite a lot in terms of information, making it very clear, I think in resonance to some of the things that we discussed yesterday. Apart from conducting tests and issuing an array of directives, little else has been done by the government for the majority whose taxes heavily fund its operations. For 6 weeks, the government's response has been a series of unmet promises whose delivery date keeps being pushed forward with every press conference. 2 weeks into the pandemic, frontline health workers were promised adequate personal protective equipment, or PPEs. To date, many of them are struggling to get the correct equipment to go about their work. Kenyans were also promised mass testing. This has not happened, with the state beating a hasty retreat on Sunday, clarifying that only a section of the population would be tested.
Basically, so this story is sampling the feedback that's
from Kenyans
being voiced on social media. Not that there was any survey conducted
No.
or such. It's basically just looking at feedback on social media, what people are saying, what some opinion leaders are saying. It's quoting people like lawyer Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, who's saying, what has been government strategy in response to COVID-19? What has government been doing with resources mobilized? Because health workers are boycotting work due to lack of equipment. Then John Githongo, the former anti-corruption chief, believes that the biggest threat to Kenyan lives is not the ongoing pandemic. It is something more dangerous, something whose damage can span generations. The biggest threat we face as a country now is a lack of imagination by those in charge, a lack of imagination, imagining ways that we can learn from this and lift ourselves up from where we are to where we want to be. That's what John Githongo is saying. So basically, it's picking from all those people and their opinions. Also, and they haven't been quoted yet, CT Muga of the Situation Room says, say we can insert
what I'm saying
into this
is
story.
this. There is nothing that these eminent citizens are saying that has not been said before. This is something we know about. Okay, where do we go from here? They are actually stating what you call the obvious. And this obvious is what the government has always painted itself to be. Not that we have decided and drawn conclusions. No. It's what we see them doing consistently is what we have. Now, there's a lot I am certain the government has put in place or is trying to put in place. They should tell us about it and tell us in a timely manner on a daily basis.
But we also need to see. We also need to see it.
That
Because one
is
of the things
step
that
two.
they also keep doing is they keep telling us, we have now secured places where we can get the PPEs done. The EPZ, Charity Ngilu's place in Kitui, the universities,
National
the PPEs,
Youth.
the national youth. Doctors and nurses are addressing media every day saying, our people
There's
don't
nothing
have.
like that.
So the government is telling us the government ought to do. Now we need to be seeing those things being distributed to the nurses and doctors. We ought to be seeing the doctors and nurses actually going through testing. So we're told that the medical professionals are going to be subjected to testing.
Have we
right?
seen it?
Have we seen it? No. We need to
Actually,
be seeing these things.
Why I started with the promises is this. With every promise, They should tell us, we said this on this date. This is the update on what we said. We have done this, and it's in this and this and this place. But, Eric, why I'm saying this is a conversation that isn't new. We've had this conversation at great length before any of these calamities struck us. We started talking about it in earnest last year, not this year.
Yep.
And we're saying, we're being told that rains are coming. We're going to have a problem here. We're being told this will happen. We're going to be told locusts. And everything that you've said is true. We heard. We're still hearing. We are not seeing. So, can the government just show us what they have done?
I think the government is also used to this. The government is used to hearing you guys voicing your opinions, and it continues doing what it's not doing.
My view has been on this subject. The government is not accustomed to doing anything that helps the Mwananchis. It's strange to them. So when you then put them to task and say, they run around a little bit. And then, because they're used to running around and talking, but not doing.
Not doing.
This is a completely new universe.
Because they actually have to work in this case.
Oh, you actually...
This is absolutely unfamiliar territory for them.
It's unfamiliar.
Yeah, because even the one
Just
or two
managing
things
a
that they have...
quarantine facility.
It's unfamiliar.
It translates to getting the job done. Which, unfortunately, and it may sound like a joke, but unfortunately, it doesn't happen.
Eric, money has
happen.
even been gotten to help with everything you're saying, the PPEs, whatever equipment you require.
Yes.
People are jostling over who should control the money.
Yep.
And yet it is straightforward. Buy.
There's a lot of back and forth over some of these issues.
You know, if
And
you're
you know the
saying,
interesting thing
saying
is,
that the
for
CS
example,
Health is looking concerned, this guy's position is not pleasant right now.
It is
No,
not.
it is not.
But he has come face to face with the reality of Afia House.
And we must understand as well that he got this position and literally, because I won't forget, he was sworn in and the Monday after he dealt with a malaria conference. The next day,
Fellow Kenyans.
President Uhuru Kenyatta called a meeting and he was thrown into the ring.
The deep end.
Immediately.
Completely. Yes.
Literally days. So he came in and he has been faced with very many things.
He has stayed in the deep end.
The rot at Afia House, the complete
The
mismanagement.
perennial rot at Africa House.
The complete
Yes.
mismanagement
Yes.
of
It's not a
affairs.
seasonal ailment.
The complete mismanagement of affairs at the same Afia House. Now, on top of already a sinking situation, enter Corona.
I feel sorry for him, but I also don't quite feel sorry for him. This is not an outsider who was brought into a position. This is a man who has been in government. This is a man who's been a cabinet secretary, a minister before.
You can imagine how bad it was dealing with mismanaged system and
yeah.
then now enter an infectious disease
He
like
has
this
sat
one.
in cabinet before. He knows how this government functions. He has worked in government. So if you're telling me it's somebody, who has not worked in government, say the MD of Kenya Airways, who's now been appointed to go and be the CS for health, this guy has...
Deer in headlights.
Yes, completely. Mutahi Kagwe knows how to maneuver this thing.
More to the point, we assumed that he was put there because he was supposed to sort it out.
That's the job.
Because if you wanted the mess to continue, you just have left the CS who was there previously. Because she was accustomed to the mess and she knew how
And
to
the
go
mess
with
would
the
have
flow.
continued nicely.
Yes, exactly. But when somebody new is brought in, the message that is being sent is we bring about changes.
Yeah.
Now, this is where you witness that situation of corruption fighting back.
My friend.
And they seem to be winning. This is the whole point.
My
Yesterday,
friend.
Denmark announced 513 million shillings, right? The money that was going to come in.
Additional.
And I saw that number and all I could do was picture people rubbing their palms together, smiling in a sheepish, sly manner saying, yes, more money. As opposed to, okay, more ammunition to fight COVID. But no, this is a picture that is in my mind.
Is, whose order are we going to take?
Oh, yes.
Who has gotten the person who's going to do this?
The whole story here, by the way, is, and I was having a conversation yesterday with somebody who told me, this whole coronavirus thing, you're seeing the numbers rising, you're seeing the way the government is behaving, the government would like, and that was his opinion, the government would like the numbers to rise. That's the only way you can justify expenditure. For example, county governments have taken in measures to address COVID-19. They have set up isolation facilities. They have said they're going to provide, sanitation for their population. They have said they're going to give face masks. All that is in preparation for some cash coming in. You need to see numbers so that we can spend money. You need to see, you can't spend money when you have only 10 cases in
How
the
are you
country.
going to justify it?
Yeah.
Eric, that thinking is so profound. Again, I'm going to draw from my experience in HIV. people thought that if you sat under a tree and cooked numbers to show that you're really dealing with this thing, you would see, the funder would see you working. What they fail to understand, the funders have people who are number crunchers and they figure it very clearly. Every patient who requires this amount of money. So they give you money for that. Now, in your enthusiasm, you surpass the numbers. What you've done is cut your own feet. Because you're then telling them that the money they gave you is in excess. So the next time when they give you more money, they reduce it by the percentage that you cheated on. So you now get less money. And when you ask them, they tell you, but we are going by your results.
Yep.
Then they realize, so the numbers high. So we should have done this.
This is what worked.
Yeah, we should have reduced it. All I'm saying is, if you understand the games that have been played with funding in other areas, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's in water, whether it's in irrigation, those games within government have not stopped. But this is where now the agencies that are charged with ensuring that such people are brought to book have an opportunity to show their mettle.
The agencies that we pay so that they can make sure
yes,
that
this is the opportunity for them to shine. This
Number
is the opportunity.
one, Parliament.
Kabza, anza huko.
In relation to the same, just like we're talking
They're not going to see it. So shall we take a look at traffic and then we come back and look at more headlines and more of this? It's 6:30. This is Kenya's biggest conversation. In the room, we have Eric Latif, CT Muga, and Nduoko. We're taking a look at the headlines. So first, let's take a look at traffic. Good morning.
Very slippery roads and in some cases flooded roads right around the T-Mall this morning have quite the flood, so you need to be very careful when approaching those areas. In terms of traffic, there's not much on the roads today. It might change in a little bit, but we'll be right here to let you know how that does. Coming off Mombasa Road, getting into the city centre, it's good, looks good. We're likely to see some build up right around the SGR and then further on towards Cabanas, but we'll let you know how that looks in a short while. Coming off of Thika Road into the CBD out of Westlands, and also coming off Langata Road and Gongre as well, it's looking good. And by looking good, I mean that there's really not much in terms of traffic, but we'll let you know how that changes. Spice FM at KE is how you can reach us on Twitter. Let us know what you see.
Spice up your life.
Yes, Ndu, you were saying.
Right, so I mean, just looking at another story that's made its way into the Standard today and saying that cases rise to 296 as there's a shortage of testing kits. When we're looking at the world numbers and we see that you see higher number of cases because there has been an increase in the amount of testing that is carried out. But then also going to the point of reporting not just the infections and deaths in a country, like Kenya, for example, but actually telling people the real situation as per what you have or not have. Kenya has the capacity or has the equipment, Kenya as a whole, to process 37,000 samples per day. It essentially do 37,000 tests per day. But unfortunately, the kits are not available. There is a shortage. The government's plan to conduct this mass testing then has been cut short because of the fact that there is not enough. So here we are giving a very good example of why of how that information should be shared. We were told then that it would only then be made available to people in those organizations where positive have been tested positive for cases of COVID-19. The information that should have come out should have been, we don't have enough testing kits right now. We are working on getting more. And when that happens, then we'll be able to test in higher numbers. But what has been said is that, okay, so there was going to be mass testing and suddenly that whole scenario changed without giving the reasons why. And so then people begin to doubt if you don't share that information. And then here we see a few days later, the reason is because we don't have enough testing kits. So mass testing is not going to happen.
You know, this money, part of the monies that we have received were intended to buy this very
The
commodity.
same thing.
Yes. And this story is tired. This, we've got, not we're getting the money, we've gotten the money. The money has been there for some time. Why don't they just buy the kits?
Buy the kits.
It's just that the kits are not available in the market.
No, you have people who are donating them. Jack Ma is doing his 3rd donation to Africa this week, right? And
Can you hook us up with his supplier?
Of that donation, testing kits are included.
Hook us up with your supplier.
He will be avoided because the supply will actually supply.
This time.
That's the problem.
No, Jack
the
Ma
supplier will actually supply.
You want someone.
And you have to pay.
Camry was to develop some testing kits.
Yes, but
the rapid kits.
Yes, again, but you need resources to develop it.
Camry can't just stand up and say that they're going to do this.
They have the capacity.
They have the capacity to do it, but it needs to be fueled.
So here we are. We have the money. We have Camry.
Yes, but if the resources,
the two
need to
people are
come
still
together.
fighting about
They need to
controlling
come
the resources.
together. They need to meet. The
Remember-
money needs to meet the resource.
Yeah, yes. Remember, I told you this, that the capacity that Camry has for testing per day is 16,000. Okay? Camry. I'm not talking about other private facilities. I'm not talking about Moi University and Referral Hospital in Eldoret. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about Ampath. But for that to happen, they need the money to be able to furnish the wherewithal that will enable that number to be reached on a daily basis. Now, if people are still fighting about who's controlling the resources, the truth of the matter is that you can have all the capacity you need. You can even quadruple that capacity, but you're not going to be meeting that target that you can actually meet.
Nope.
Remember when we were talking about irrigation and we were talking about the Israeli input and the Israeli departure?
Yeah.
We were supposed to have reached a certain number in providing food security. If the irrigation wasn't taking place, those numbers were never going to be reached. And that's what we saw. It is replicated. Now, I am aware that this is an indication of grand corruption fighting back. But I'm also aware that this is the opportunity that these units, these departments of government who are charged with making sure that this is being done are doing it. The other thing I'm certain of is that there are things they are doing and the things they cannot talk about loudly just because of the nature of those things. But the things that they can't talk about, they should, so that we can see and understand that they are doing something.
Everything that can be talked about should be talked about, whether it is the smallest detail, whether it is the grandest of details. I read another article yesterday where New Zealand's Prime Minister is being called the leader of the times. And do you know she's not doing much? Do you know what she's doing? Anything that happens in New Zealand, she tells very, very fast. She goes to tell the New Zealanders, this is what is going on. This is what we have. This is what we don't have.
They haven't called her. It's too much.
But
Eric, she's sharing information with her people.
They're doing. You see, how she's not doing our thing, talking.
They're actually doing it.
Saying we said this is what we're doing. And we've done it here and here.
This is how far we've reached. This is where we hope to reach in the next couple of days. If those couple of days come and we've not reached there,
she comes up and says,
we have not done. We are hoping to complete.
But this one, it's ongoing. We are working on it. Okay, so where is it? We are working on it. All right. So where's it being done? We are working on it. So you say, okay, fine.
Just continue working on it. Let's carry on with that.
No, and you shift the conversation immediately to Kenyans are not following what we're telling them to do.
And that's the focus then. That becomes the focus.
You see, Kenyans, we are going to kill people. You are a killer if you're not listening to what we're telling you.
All that is true, but what are you doing?
But you're the killer because you're the one who's not doing what you're supposed to be doing, right?
You know, the underbelly of what we actually are is not pleasant when you look at it. Because even the blame that they're shifting is actually true. Kenyans are not adhering. But why? There's this story doing the rounds that people are actually escaping from quarantine centers.
Yes.
Why are they escaping from quarantine centers?
Because it's a detention centers.
Yes.
Because the situations are deplorable and expensive.
Now look at not
a
being
story.
able to...
There's a story on that actually on page 8 of the Standard, written by somebody called who? Guess? Mutahi.
Believe it or not.
Yes.
No relative of the minister.
Basilo Mutahi of the BBC. So Kenyan quarantine centers are in worse state than jails. Like people around the world, Rachel Gashuna is extremely worried about catching coronavirus. She's just as fearful about being locked up in a Kenyan quarantine center. If the single mother of 1-year-old twins is to believe those already held at some of these government-assigned facilities, living conditions are not much better than at prison. Well, yeah. We have talked to many people in quarantine facilities. They've told us this story. And now we are seeing that it's not just for those who are suspected of having contracted COVID-19 because of A, coming into contact with somebody who has already tested positive, or B, having traveled from abroad. Now, it's also because You were caught drinking. You're taken to quarantine. Police arrest 200 in Nairobi. Send all to holding facilities. More than 200 people were on Monday arrested by police. Monday, right? After they were violated the curfew. Nairobi Regional Commissioner Wilson Jenga said 506 people have been placed in forced quarantine at their own cost for breaking public health law. People are not taking this curfew seriously.
Actually, I don't think that is a correct assessment. They are taking it seriously. But they have other things that they consider more serious than the curfew. Because we are being told, for instance, that in Kirinyaga, policemen were arrested drinking. 30 worshippers were arrested. The pastor plus his 30 congregants. Ndani.
It's not funny. True. It's not funny. I can't. Sorry, CT. Kirinyaga, you said the policemen were arrested?
Yes, they were arrested, yes.
Police officers, a pastor and worshippers are among more than 40 people arrested in Kirinyaga.
Yes.
The officers were arrested drinking at a bar in PI Market near Embu Town. All bars have been ordered closed indefinitely, right?
Their colleagues arrested them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
And the pastor was also arrested. The pastor, this thing of social distancing, he hadn't got it correct.
Not gotten it
He hadn't
right.
got it fully.
Yeah.
So now that he is going where he's going, he has gone where he's gone, we think he might understand it
You'll
better.
see the distance. So anyway, we saw the people, videos going viral. People just jumping over the wall
I'm telling you.
at
Calmly.
KNH.
Joining the crowd and continuing down
And just
Baghdad
kept
Road.
walking.
Calmly.
No problem. Let's move on.
You see,
And you tell me that this is a government-managed facility.
did we
So where
not
is the
ask
management?
that question?
Just yesterday.
Should there not be people who are ensuring that, one, the lockdown is actually being adhered to? Clearly, no such thing exists.
Enforcement.
And all the reports we've heard is that there really is no such thing.
No.
People just do what they will, willy-nilly.
And
What-
for you to understand, even jumping over that fence, it wasn't.
Did you see? They were not in a hurry.
No. And they just joined traffic as if nothing was going on.
And they continued.
So you can imagine the mindset is, are you kidding me?
By the way, the point at which
Where
they're
have
jumping off
been-
that wall, is near the roundabout at City Mortuary.
Yeah.
Which there's usually
Police.
police manning
Yes.
that
I'm sure they also
roundabout.
looked at that,
These guys, let's go.
More important things.
So you can imagine by the time somebody has made a decision to jump over the fence and say, I cannot do. Number one, I am at risk of catching this disease.
And number
two, I don't
have
have the
heard-
money to be paying you.
I have
and
heard how much
sleeping on the
people are
floor.
paying.
Me, I don't
It's
have
not
that
gonna
money.
happen.
So the bill going
don't have-
round. Somebody has been billed 48,000 shillings for staying at KMTC. So, 48K.
I don't have.
And you'll find that behind this, somebody did the arithmetic and is making money from this.
Of course.
Standard.
That's the main point. That's the main
You know,
point.
this decadence it's something else. It's honestly, this is why when you hear me retorting to divine intervention, I mean it.
Did you imagine 6 weeks ago when we started talking about this in earnest, and even 3 months ago now when it came out like this, did you imagine that we would be talking about quarantine break? No. Did you imagine that we'd be talking about people jumping a fence? When we're talking about fighting COVID-19, do you imagine that we'd be having stories of escapees?
Think about it. For them to have chosen that particular spot, they must.
They've had scoped the
They've
area.
Yes, they did.
Yes.
They looked. They said, "Hapa."
Yeah.
No one's going to do
Pale
anything.
hakuna barbed wire.
And nani hebu jaribu,
Twende.
I mean, this is not a laughing matter, but really, it provides some comic relief.
I can't.
What on earth?
I don't think those people should be taken to quarantine facilities.
They should not have been taken there in the first
Detention.
place.
They should be it should be taken to a detention. So detention, you know what detention would mean? That there's more security. The person in charge is a police officer. This quarantine facility, the person in charge is a medical professional.
And that person doesn't even.
That person is
We
not
used to
really
hear of testing every day. Are we hearing it anymore?
No, not anymore.
Or temperature? Not.
You were saying testing. Temperature. For the people who
The
were arrested,
screening.
who were brought in.
Goodness.
You see now, I'm even saying they were arrested. The people who were brought into quarantine on Monday, no
were-
screening was
But they were
done.
arrested.
They were arrested.
They were
yes.
arrested. Yeah, you see? Even that's what I'm saying, quarantine protocol. And, looking at conversations that have been taking place and what we saw in the news yesterday, people are saying, well, the government has tried their best. What are they supposed to do? The situations that we are seeing at KMTC are actually not the same in some of the hotels. I said, no. Quarantine protocol is quarantine protocol.
There's
It
nothing-
doesn't matter
where
where
you're
you are.
staying. Even if you're in a police cell.
If you like, be in 5-star or be in negative star. It doesn't make a difference. Quarantine protocol is quarantine protocol. There are certain guidelines that should be followed. It is not being followed. And that is the issue that we should be focusing on right now. Certain things are not being followed. People are being put at risk where they could easily be at home. We're mixing issues here. People who broke the law and people who could genuinely be ill. And we're mixing them and putting them in the same pot. It's a recipe for disaster. And these are the things that we're saying should be looked at. This is the information that should be shared to the public. It shouldn't be made to seem as if quarantine now is a punitive measure. People trying to make sure that you're not sick, and if you are, making you better so that you can protect yourself and you can protect others by virtue of the fact that you're healthy. These are the things that we should be looking at. And look at the mess that we have now. People are escaping. Others are saying, can you imagine the ones who are left there thinking,
Cray,
so that means I can also
I'm going.
leave.
I'm going.
Look at the mess now that
Even the ones
has
that were
been
there from
created.
the initial
From
days,
the
the
very
ones who were
beginning,
there
we're like,
14
wait a
days,
minute.
28 days, now they've been told 42 days.
I could have left.
You will leave.
Can you imagine?
They will leave.
Yeah.
Can you 42 days times 2,000.
It does the maths. No.
Jump.
And plus, remember, most of us understand being
Kufa
ill
dereva,
means-
kufa makanga.
Kwani shida iko wapi? What people understand by being ill is you must feel ill.
Yeah.
They are saying, but I'm fine.
Nothing wrong with me.
Yes. If they're not testing. By the time people get to the point where they're escaping, believe me, a lot has gone on through their mind. They've processes, done the arithmetic. They feel
And this is the best solution.
Let me sort myself out of this environment. Bear in mind that there's something else that we're not talking about. We've been talking about how children are learning now that they're not in a normal school setting. But I want us to talk a little bit about those with disabilities and those who are infirm and those who are special. What is the government doing to ensure that these people actually get the education they need, the care they need? Because some of them need to go to hospital regularly.
Yeah.
Some of them need to go for therapy regularly.
Yeah.
And some of these activities fly against some of the rules that have been set, like social distancing. You cannot apply what you're supposed to with social distancing.
social distancing.
So what are we doing?
At 13 minutes to 7 o'clock, let's take a short break and come back and continue with the review and the discussion. Good morning.
Classic soul, R&B, smooth jazz, neo soul, and nostalgic ballads.
Make some noise.
You're listening to Spice FM.
It's 11 minutes to 7 o'clock. This is a Situation Room. It's Kenya's biggest conversation. Remember, you can watch us on Spice FM KE, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, as well as www.spicefm.co.ke. Some positive news, though, that's in the papers. Again, it's still talk, but some positive talk, all right? Kenya is set to begin mass production of ventilators.
Okay.
The cost of producing one gadget will be a quarter of what is needed to import a similar one. So we can make 4 for everyone that could have been imported.
That's fantastic.
Now, this is the Kenya Association of Manufacturers made public the prototype of the locally developed ventilator in Nairobi yesterday. It's called the Pumua Ishi 2.0. It's designed to be a complete intensive care unit respirator. It's portable, it's robust, it's compact, it's economical, and easy to use. The primary focus of the Pumua Ishi 2.0, according to Ashit Shah, an expert on ventilators made using Israeli technology, the primary focus is to provide intermittent positive pressure ventilation. This is a process of manually or mechanically ventilating a patient, exhibiting a brief stop of respiration, as well as one who has difficult or labored breathing. So this can be done here. The CAM Automotive Sector Chairman Niraj Hirani says 100 pieces will be made daily and 500 every week when mass production begins.
Well,
This is when it begins. Then let's hope that this actually does go into proper production.
I hope so. And
Because
again, I hope
they
that
showed the prototype to the CS for industrialization, Betty Minor. She was there. She was happy. She was like, yeah, this is good news. We wait to see that this one of these ventilators actually being produced locally. And then we hear that Pumua Ishi 2.0 ventilators have been taken to certain county hospitals, like that.
it would be nice to see that this resource is actually met with the funds necessary to take it off the ground and make it happen. Because the details we already know. 4 for every one that you could import, and the expertise locally available. It would be a waste not to go ahead and do
But that
this.
guy who imports, how do you think he's feeling when he sees this kind of news?
Sorry, you lick your wounds, but what do you do in this case? You won't be spending
There's a
money
guy who
anyhow.
imports this hospital. Well, there are companies that import this hospital
These ventilators.
equipment, beds, ventilators, whatever you need, equipment for the healthcare system. People who benefit from this.
Actually,
And
you will
it's
drop your
good
price.
cash.
It's okay.
It's
You will
good
drop
cash.
your price.
He's going to fight this thing.
It's okay.
He's going to work with the cartels to make sure that these Kenyans who are saying that they can make these
Why is he
ventilators,
going to work with the cartel?
The mon-
Why don't you just call him part of the cartel?
the money that was supposed to go to procure these local ones is going to be delayed forever and ever because there's already a shipment. But you see, guys, I'd already ordered these things. They were coming. Okay, so what we can do is if you remove some tax, they'll be cheaper.
You know, Eric, the story that you are now bringing to the fore is not an imaginary story. Remember when we were discussing the issue of blood donation and everything around blood donation and the availability of it? Again, we came to the conclusion from the information we got that it isn't the question of the equipment not being available. It's whatever is needed to make it viable that was not available. What story did we hear coming out?
It's a case of procurement of the wrong equipment
And you're asking, how did this come about?
with wrong reagents.
I assume that the procurement process takes into account all the details required. That when you're procuring, you know.
You know, it's not.
Yes.
It's good grief.
So the
And
wrong
it's across
equipment,
board.
wrong
Across
equipment
board.
procured. And you know what happens? That wrong equipment. It's not that the equipment doesn't work. No one is trained to handle it or manage it.
Yep.
You're going to need whatever supplies that makes this particular equipment viable, and it's going to be different. You have to train people how to use this. So essentially, you've incurred cost, and you're going to continue incurring more cost.
Same thing happened with locusts, where they were now using the pesticides that was meant for ground spraying, and they realized later that actually, wanted to do air spraying, but we've bought all this pesticide, but we cannot actually use it for aerial spraying.
And by the way, the aerial spray that you're using, you are using equipment that farmers use to just the normal spraying that they do of their crops. And yet at Wilson Airport, there are planes that are intended for this work which are grounded. The head for anything of this nature in this region is at Wilson Airport. Not another Wilson Airport in another country.
This one
here
here.
in Kenya.
Our
Bagati, upper. So you ask, we have the equipment, there are people who are trained, there are even pilots who know how to, they're engineers.
Didn't you ask them when you were buying? Didn't
Or didn't you just resuscitate what you already have? Now, it's the same saga. Now, you're going to find that somebody has bought PPE garments that you have to change every single day. And you're asking,
Yep.
but why are you doing this? You can buy PPE material.
Is this what happens on a daily basis?
It's not affordable. You need something that lasts, essentially just lasts. When you buy a lab coat, do you change lab coats every day? No.
They're
You wash
laundered,
them,
they're disinfected,
infected, and you
they're
put them on
they're
again.
reused.
So
A question that's coming out of this story about some locally manufactured ventilators. This is Dr. Mercy Koriri who's actually asking. So, have
have they been tested?
have the local healthcare workers been consulted on this thing? Whether they would actually work. The experts in ICU, there were people who would use the machine.
But they also know how those machines work.
Yep.
Have they been consulted?
Have they been consulted? Have they been told this is what we are making? Would it work for you? Does it meet the requirements? Is it good enough?
But are they really ever asked how long?
If it's something that's just going to pump, there's
Chief,
oxygen coming out.
that's
good.
Are they
That's
pumping?
enough. We'll work with that.
No, we've had those things for sorting out tire pressures of bicycles. We know they work. Okay?
Just automate it.
The equipment, the function, the mechanics of it are known. It's not something difficult. But in a health setting, you have to consult the experts, and those are the healthcare providers.
There's no time, but this is an emergency.
No, there's an emergency to get it right.
If you really, anybody who said, I'm going to do a project, if somebody who had submitted their proposal in university to say my belief on the operations of government, just go and sit down. COVID has allowed you to do your entire research paper while just watching. You didn't have to go anywhere. You didn't have to ask. You just see as things are unfolding.
Yep.
Now you know how government works. Now you know how people actually supposedly get their job done, or in this case, not done. Now you know how it really works.
Kenya's civil public service has just been exposed. Basically, if you look at it, so let's talk about the war room, right? The situation room at Afya House where Mutahi Kagwe, Mwangangi, Dr. Amoth and the others sit and they discuss and they spend sleepless nights because we've heard from various quarters that these guys
They've not slept
actually
for months.
work throughout the day. They're just working the same. So what do we need here? All right. So all they do is they receive information, they process information, they give instructions. Those instructions should be going down to be implemented and executed by other officers. Now, the problem is those officers. We need to bring people to this quarantine facility. Okay, I'll be there tomorrow at 10.
I have somewhere to go, however.
I'll pass by there tomorrow at 10 because I'm the one now who's been told I'm in charge of that. So I'll just go and talk to them and tell them, you people, you're here. I will test you on the 14th day. And if you test positive, then if one of you tests positive and we see that you've not been living according to the standards, you'll stay another 14 days. What does that person do? They just send a report back up saying, these people did not adhere to the standards. The information goes back up to the generals, and the generals are like, all right, so let them extend. But the generals should also be questioning, what is it that you did to make sure that they adhere to the standards? How did they breach the rules? Where were you when they were breaching the rules? Where were you when people were climbing off up a wall and escaping? More than 50 people escaping in one night. How can 50 people just escape?
That's what reported, which means they'd been escaping in smaller numbers before. And they got bolder and bolder and bolder. They figured,
this one.
They just continued. Had somebody been arrested, they might have paused. It's clear. It's like even the people who didn't even know that the numbers were getting less.
Yep. They didn't notice.
No, they didn't notice. Which means they never they never do.
There's no roll call at all.
No.
How many people did we have last night? How many people are here this morning? How are you feeling? Are you okay? Nothing.
You know how
if you hear somebody coughing, call us.
Because this is what we're expecting it to be. When you're in hospital, admitted in hospital, somebody comes, takes your vitals at 12-hour intervals, right? If your case is a little bit more serious, they're probably doing this at 6 hours, every 6 hours.
My friend, the 12 hours is the one you hope for.
So
the 6 hours, you've just begun to sleep, they wake you up.
They wake you up. 5 in the morning, somebody comes and says, Ndu, shwa, shwa. Wake up. We're here. All of us, 6 of us, we've just come. How are you doing?
How are you feeling?
We're checking your temperature. Somebody's giving your medicine. This is what you expect about some kind of medical protocol to happen. And this is the same situation in which we are. You would expect it to happen. It is not happening. That's why nobody knows what's going on. You can even say, actually, I came and I took vitals of 208 people today, but then I came and I realized that there are 203. Nothing like that is happening.
Top of the hour, City. Today's proverb?
Today's proverb is, as I said, I before I stated, I apologize because it may even sound offensive, but it is not purpose to be in. It says that a fool, by the time has learned the game, the players have dispersed.
Say again?
By the time the fool has learned the game, the players have dispersed.
Okay. Coming up to 7 o'clock, this is the Situation Room. It's Kenya's biggest conversation. Good morning.
Let's see how it has changed a little bit. Roundabouts at Westlands, created by Matatus, is crazy. A couple of accidents have happened there already today on the Greater Uhuru Highway, so you want to be careful around that area, guys. The Thika Superhighway at certain parts was supposed to be opened today. That is going to be delayed, so you're just going to have to carry on your merry way today. That is not changing. The roads are quite slippery today, guys, so you need to be very careful wherever it is that you're traveling to. Not much traffic, but the showers continue to come down, so you want to take it easy, and it's likely to be that way for a few days more. Coming around about Cabanas, there seems to be a bit of a hold up, so it'll not take you more than a few minutes to get out of it. Not normal traffic situations from what we're used to, so you'll get where you're going in a short time. Getting into the CBD is not much of a problem. We'll take a look at Mombasa and Kisumu and Eldoret when we come back, but for now it looks good. Spice FMKE, not to forget. Tell us what you see, and if anything that needs to be shared, we'll do so.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker
President
and
Uhuru Kenyatta
believer
is this
in
morning
people power,
hosting some radio
and
stations,
Eric
Swahili broadcasting radio stations at State House, Nairobi. He'll be speaking about a number of issues, of course, primarily on Kenya's fight against COVID-19. We'll be joining our colleagues from Radio Maisha who are there in State House, Nairobi. So we'll be linking up with them and taking that feed and hearing what the president is saying as soon as that starts. So keep it right here to hear what the president has to say about COVID-19, Kenya's fight against COVID-19, the response to what we are saying. Broken promises, the headline in today's Standard, saying time is running out. 40 days after the country recorded the first case of coronavirus, Kenyans want tangible solutions to win this war. This is something that we expect the president to respond to and say, yeah, so this is what we're talking about, tangible solutions. This is a tangible roadmap that we are deploying, or even admitting, I hope that he admits in some cases, well, here, yes, we've dropped the ball and we're going to pick it up better. All right. So let's go back to where we were the day before yesterday. Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday. West Pokot and Elgeyo Marakwet counties that have been hit by floods and landslides and mudslides, and people have been displaced. Yesterday we spoke to the Rift Valley Regional Coordinator, George Natembea. He was telling us that they are doing the best they could. They were waiting for some heavy machinery to come from the county government to the affected area. I saw later in the day that the heavy machinery arrived, and they were using that now to try and, use that to try and recover some bodies of people who are believed to have died or buried in the mudslide. So that was happening. Before that, it was just telling us we're using rudimentary tools, just the shovels and bare hands and all. We'll be speaking to some of the local leadership there, some MPs, local administrators, councillors and civic leaders, to hear what's happening on the ground. People have died in this. People were caught not unawares, but they were caught flat-footed.
This is the case. I mean, we're just looking across the country and rains, hundreds. Now we're looking at hundreds of families in different areas displaced, and the rains are continuing to pound down. South Rift, Nyanza, number of people killed even after yesterday. And you know, the thing is that we look at this disaster as it unfolds, right? People continue to die, but the rain is not abating. It's unabating. It still continues to come down. We had rain the whole of last night, and it's likely that we're just going to have a little bit of dry, and then it's going to go back into that. At least according to the Kenya Met, it's going to be continuous like this until at least Sunday night. But then if we look at the whole period, we're going to go well into June with the rains that we are seeing now. So in as much as people have been displaced, it's not as if the water is going to disappear and then their homes can be erected. It's going to be that this will be the situation for some time, which is why we then go towards more permanent measures need to be put in place to get this sorted out. I mean, if we just look, we spoke about roads yesterday, and CT, you're talking about this where you said, the problem is that even if we're just looking at now, sorting out the issue, where people need to be moved, or where people or food needs to be delivered to them, or it's not possible. If we look at an example in West Pokot, the governor, John Loyangapur, they're at a blocked road in Chesogon yesterday. So they're standing at the mouth of a road. The mud and everything, the debris and everything, trees, full logs, has cut off that road completely. So even if you wanted to get there, you can't. They're standing at the mouth of the road. They're not able to move. So there's mud, there's debris, there's trees, there's everything. And unfortunately, on the other side of this are people who need to cross over. And they can't do anything about it. Their hands are tied. So even if you throw money at it, even if whatever you do now, there's nothing that can be done until they find a way to move this debris in order for them to move. That's what we're talking about here.
But
so it's not child's
about
play.
People who need help as well. So the people who are talking about finding the bodies of their loved ones 20, 30 kilometers away. And they need to find those bodies and transport them back home.
That water moves, and with it moves debris, it moves bodies, it moves parts of building, it moves. So where you find it stationary is where it has actually ground to a halt. But remember, with every passing time, we are dealing with the increase in population, the need for this population to find a place to live in, to dwell in. We also find deforestation at an alarming rate. The entire environment when these people change. If you notice, with every rain season or cycle, the outcomes get more and more dire. It's not as though it rains now and there is less harm. There is more harm, which means that whatever brings this about, the rain will come down. But the surface on which this rain lands is far more dangerous than it was in the previous cycle. With every cycle, it actually keeps getting worse and worse. But this is now the crunch. In history, this isn't new. In this country, this isn't new. More to the point, knowing in advance isn't new. There's a story that is told. There's a certain volcanic mountain called Vesuvius. It was made popular by a certain movie called Pompeii. And how it disappeared. It was in AD 79. What people are not told of is that particular eruption drowned 3 other civilizations, 3 other cities. So there were 4 in total. Pompeii was just 1. Now, they knew that this was an active volcano. It's not that they didn't know. They were told. They had seen signs. But until this happened, now, do you think, for instance, that area is uninhabited? No, it is still habited.
The people who live at the foot of the mountain.
They do. There's something about human nature and their understanding. If a disaster has occurred in their mind, it is gone. It hasn't gone.
No.
It's gone for that season. It is likely to come back. If you're looking at the rains that are now plummeting all these parts of the country that border the lake, all those rivers, my friend, have broken their banks. If you look at a town like, say, Ahero, it's water knee length through the middle of the town. So what do you think is happening to the shops? There's water in the shops.
Yeah, we saw videos yesterday of just at Ahero there. The river now is at the level of the bridge. And that was in the morning.
It's beyond the level of the bridge.
Yeah. That was in the morning.
Top to the bridge.
Yes, that was in the morning yesterday. And people are walking by saying, Yeah, the river is
Yes.
up here. By the time we go and come back, there'll be no bridge. This is what we're looking at. And they're looking across and they're seeing, I was going to this shop. Just like you said yesterday, I had gone, I come back, and there's
and
nothing.
You meet this disaster.
Somebody said I was coming to go to that shop, which you can see was there, but now all you see is water. So we're not talking about a disaster in the making. We're talking about one that has already happened and one that with every likelihood to reoccur as we're watching.
You know why this one is even more dangerous? Remember, the lake has been rising and reclaiming land that was previously its own, isn't it?
Mother Nature will come
Yes.
back.
Then you have rain coming from the river. By the way, these rivers, they are fed from waters that come from up in those Nandi escarpments and what have you. Pokot, all those areas. Now, if you see something of that sort happening in Pokot, expect it to happen
The
downstream.
water is coming.
It's coming. And all this mud and silt has gone and actually filled the river. So what you find, the surface area within the river is lessened. So as the water passes through, it just flows out.
Yeah.
Now, these are not things. If I, a layman, know these things, the experts in this field in this country, they understand it better than I do. And you do dredging during the dry season when you're not being impeded. So when the rain comes, it finds that you've increased the capacity or the space within which the water can pass through. Again, you will find that this has not been done. And yet there are people who are paid to do precisely this. Yes.
You're looking at areas like Nakuru, Eldoret, and Iten yesterday, instead, where people would have come to mingle in the markets, COVID aside. Survivors stood around, forlorn and downcast, counting their losses. Everything had been destroyed. The local police station, hardware shops, litter, secondary school, a goat auction, a Catholic church, the chief's office were all gone. Gone. They were nowhere. There was just water. Everything had been destroyed. Mr. Alan Courier says this is where the police station was. There were quite a number of officers who stayed there. I think there were 20 officers or so. Next was the chief's office. Not far from there was a big shop that the owner had just restocked on Saturday, just before the tragedy struck. That tree is where the goat auction was always done on Wednesdays and Sundays. Nature's destructive finality. The surrounding hills were let loose upon the plains below, raining rock and sludge on the fledgling town. And this is the story of many towns across the South Rift.
It's a very sad story. I mean, and you can see people just standing there helpless. They are wondering, so what do we do? They are waiting for their government to come and rescue them and offer them support. The government is basically just being hit from all sides.
Unfortunately, yes. This is it. I mean, if it's not one
From
thing
all
today,
sides.
it's another. When it rains,
And as you
pun
can hear,
intended, literally it pours.
yeah. And as you can hear from a senior administrator like George Natembea telling us, look, we are waiting for we know that this is one of the issues that we are dealing with, but there are very many other issues that the government is dealing with.
So
when
which
you
one
talk
are you
about-
going to pick? Take your pick.
Take
Which one
your
are you
pick.
going to choose?
You see,
Yeah.
he is going out of the boundaries of his own functions. He's a security officer. They even have a disaster management team. But then again, if that disaster management team isn't equipped to deal with the disaster, then they're ineffective. There are other ministries within government who are supposed to play their part. So if one person doesn't play their part, the other people have to pick up this part, which they're actually not supposed to. They're not equipped to. They're not trained to. You know, there was this discussion about people receiving money to move, but they don't move. Long before, when was the last rains we had? December?
Last major rains? Yes.
Okay. We've had some 3 months. The argument I would put before us is 3 months enough time to actually get people to understand the need to move and the need to rethink the way they do? And I would say yes, it is a good beginning. They may not necessarily understand it, but if you start the process and this happens, they will understand it better. These processes don't take place in a day, because they'll tell you, oh, but I've got this, I've had this. I gave the example yesterday of what the government did with settlement schemes. You cannot tell me that this country, we do not have land. We do. We do. There are countries that don't have land. We are not one of those countries. The amount of land that is arable keeps reducing, and it keeps reducing because what needs to be done? Ministries charged with ensuring that our forest cover increases are helping it decrease. Okay? People who are charged with ensuring that the land that we have as it is, We bring in experts who have known over time how to deal with semi-arid and arid land and make it productive. They try and help us. We pull a stunt like the ones we've been known to pull with Israelis. So if we correct this and say, okay, folks, enough time, these games have been played long enough. Let's take this thing seriously. And whoever doesn't, let the security forces deal with this person. These are not impossible situations that we're talking about. They are not. There's nothing impossible here.
So what needs to happen? Because the point is right now, people in West Pokot need assistance. People in Nyando, in Nyanza, in South Rift, they need assistance.
The thing is that emergency relief is necessary at this point. That doesn't
just to make sure that people are
just
okay.
to make sure that they're okay, that they have food, because now their normal operations have ceased to be. They can't get food, to make sure that they have a regular source of food. However, if something is not done, and this is what we talk about in terms of, you want to make sure that people, number one, are not resident in these mudslide prone areas. You want to make sure that the building of dikes and things like that are put in place. It can happen, absolutely. The enforcing of a policy to say that this area should not be inhabited. That is clear, and it needs to happen now. Otherwise, you continue to be in a situation of emergency. And emergency, by definition, does not allow you to be in that state for a prolonged period of time. It can't be.
At 7:15, let's take a look at weather shortly, and then the conversation continues. Remember, stand by, because we'll be in our colleagues in Radio Nation.
It's cloudy, mostly cloudy in Nairobi, 17 degrees. We're going to see showers intermittently throughout the day, highs of 24 and lows of 15. In Nyeri at 17 degrees, it's cloudy conditions all through. Thunderstorms expected later with highs of 24 and lows of 16. Cloudy conditions in Nakuru at 16 degrees. Scattered thunderstorms forecasted for most of the day, highs of 24 and lows of 14. Eldoret at 14 degrees is cloudy throughout. We're going to see rain showers with highs of 21 and lows of 13. It's mostly cloudy in Kisumu at 19 degrees. Showers expected very early on. Highs of 26 and lows of 19. It's 26 degrees in Mombasa and partly cloudy. We'll see rain showers with highs of 31 and lows of 26. Malindi at 28 degrees is cloudy conditions all through. Showers expected right around noon and throughout most of the day with highs of 31 and lows of 26. Taking a look into Kampala at 19 degrees, is mostly cloudy. We're going to see rain in this region as well with highs of 25 and lows of 19. Dar es Salaam is mostly sunny this morning, 26 degrees, 31 degrees the high and lows of 24. It'll cool it down with rain showers though later. Johannesburg at 9 degrees is clear skies all through and sunny conditions in the afternoon with highs of 23, and it'll cool it down to a low of 9. And finally in Lagos, light thunderstorms already occurring now at 26 degrees, likely to be rain throughout the day with highs of 33 and lows of 25.
Chilled Spice.
20 past 7. Good morning. Thank you very much for tuning in to The Situation Room. It's Kenya's biggest conversation. Spice FM broadcasting in Nairobi on 94.4, 87.9 in Mombasa, Kisumu 102.5, Nakuru 96.0, Eldoret 96.7, Nyeri 90.9 and Malindi 97.7. Join our live stream. You can watch us. This is the only radio station in the Republic and in fact in the entire region that has cameras in the studio that shows the radio show on video. So you can watch us on www.spicefm.co.ke as well as Spice FM KE on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Join the conversation as well on Instagram. So as I've been telling you, President Uhuru Kenyatta is going to be talking to some radio journalists this morning. Our colleagues from Radio Maisha are in State House. We'll be linking up with them shortly to hear what the president will be talking about. There are some questions that, of course, we'll be asking that we've also sent to them. But we'd like you to join the conversation as well. Tell us what you'd like the president, what is it that you'd like the president to address today as head of state? What do you think the president should put as a priority today to address today and tell Kenyans, fellow Kenyans, this is what my government is doing? Siti Muge, you said one of the things that you'd like us to talk about is, as we are talking about how to address COVID-19 and the measures that have been put in place, we need not forget the persons living with disabilities and especially children with special needs. In this time when you're talking about, you're in school, you're learning from home and such.
Yes, because essentially, if you look at the history of people who have disabilities, we have 1.3 billion people worldwide living with disabilities. And what is actually strange, what is odd, is that the very priorities that we've placed for our safety with COVID-19 are things that the majority of people living with disabilities or with special needs face every day. Isolation. Most communities, most individuals do not know what to do with people who have disabilities. If you have children, say, who have some, we used to call them handicaps, but let's just call them special needs, all right? You're talking about children who are autistic. There's been great advances made in the manner in which the understanding of what to do with such children, that knowledge has gained a lot of momentum and more people understand what to do. Mm-hmm. Special schools have been set up, experts have been trained. But if you look at the manner in which such children are managed or handled, from the medical care, the therapies that they need on a daily basis, and even the teaching, most of it has to be within very close proximity. And it has to be individual care, not necessarily group care. Mm. These children also need space in order to do what they do. Some of these conditions, if you put them in a confined space, believe me, you exacerbate their condition completely. Now, what I was calling strange is this. Being isolated, being treated as though you're subhuman, this is something that people in this category are used to. Mm. Now, the rest of us are now beginning for the first time to understand how people with disability feel. Because we are now isolating, you're now being told to keep social distance. Most people don't need to be told to keep social distance. You look at someone who doesn't seem to be okay, you veer. You give it a wide berth, as though the condition that person has is communicable. It isn't. Now, the thing that we need to ask ourselves is, Kenya has its own fair share of people with disabilities and special needs. What has the government put in place to ensure that these special people actually get their needs met? If it's in terms of education, online learning, what is it that has been put in place? What training, because they have special caregivers, you're now saying that the parents will need to help. What are you doing to ensure that the parents are actually able to deal with the needs that the children have? If you are still including those who are trained, what have you put in place to make sure that these needs are met? If they need hospital visits every so often, what have we put in place to ensure that this particular need is met? If it is therapy, if it's just medication, if it's just examination, what have we done? Because in placing a lockdown or putting into place, what you've done, you've now added a very specific and special burden on the parents, which they were not prepared for.
Yeah.
And if a parent has more than one child with special needs, and you want this parent to work at home, that parent is not going to be able to work
from home. They cannot work at home.
No.
They indeed cannot work at home.
Yes.
Just starting from the ones that we see like obvious.
Yes.
people with visual impairment,
Yes.
they require braille.
Yes.
So do you have the braille equipment at home?
Yes.
Are they able to learn from home? When you're talking about online learning, you cannot do online learning on braille.
No.
So how is it being conducted? How is this teaching being done? Those with hearing impairment, what are you doing about those? I mean, how are we ensuring that this education is actually happening? And if you're there and you have, you are a parent, or you know somebody, you know a friend or a relative who has a child with special needs and they're at home, would like to hear the story of what's happening on the ground. Because,
Yes,
I mean, this is something that, you know, we spoke with somebody with a disability the other day, a couple of weeks back, and he said, when the government is putting in place all these measures, the fact that there is no person with disabilities in that emergency response committee, it
Tells
means
you
they are not going to think about it.
No, it's not regarded. I mean, at this point, it's not.
You don't have a person with disabilities tells you it's already been disregarded.
It's been disregarded.
And you know something? Our law actually requires a representation.
They need to be there.
They have to
Even if not at Mutahi Kagwe's committee, at the task force, which is wider. You need to have somebody.
Actually, no free pass here.
At the very top.
At the very top, there has to be somebody with a disability who can express. Why do you think, for instance, that when you had what you called peer groups within HIV, these people have to be HIV positive? You're discussing HIV issues and there's no one who's HIV positive. What are you discussing then?
Yeah.
People have to tell you, this is what happened, this is what I feel, this is what
My
I know.
experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can encourage each other. So you can find a way forward. You are discussing interest groups, and you do not leave and you don't represent a very large group of people who actually need special needs in that committee.
Yeah.
Whatever you come up with is going to fail, even before you've begun. Somebody who's never owned a cow and is giving you expert advice on milk.
Yeah, so you need to think twice about that. And this is why we keep going back. And this is, we keep going back then to systems. Because if you want to look at any country that has its systems in place from the very beginning, there's certain things that they've taken into consideration from the get-go. So regardless of what, this is the thing, that if you have your systems in place, regardless of what comes along, famine, flooding, pandemic, the systems are already set up. So everybody is going to be taken into consideration, whether you are what they call a normal functioning human being, whether you unfortunately have a disability, whether there are other systems that you need. Because if you want to look at some countries where these things happen, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you are in public or you are in private. If you're living with a disability, you'll be able to get around just as fine as everybody else will, because there's public information out there for you, whether it's for the seeing person or the visually impaired person, whether it's for the hearing person or the audibly impaired person. All of these are already been put in place. So guess what? COVID comes along in some of these other countries, the information reaches them anyway, because the system has already initially been set up. So here we are dealing from miles behind, whereby the structure has not been set up. It's not now. And unfortunately, that's the thing. Because it has not been set up, because the time and the focus and the deliberation has not been imputed at a certain place, now, unfortunately, is not the time when it's going to be done. Unfortunately, they will not be considered.
You're still considering these people as a burden.
We're still considering...
Around the country, what we've been fighting is the stigmatization of persons living with a disability.
This is it.
Where the society considers them a burden. You are born with a disability, a child is killed.
Yes.
Or is hidden, is chained in a house.
Put in a cage.
Yep.
And this is the thing. So enter COVID, they are still going to be in that pocket. They're still going to be operating in that block because, okay, you know what? We're still trying to figure out what COVID is. We're not going to and deal with a already dilapidating system. We're not going to start introducing new things. We can't handle the one that we are seeing. We're not going to start introducing new things and then try to take on that burden. They're not going to do that because they realize that at some point, a failure has already been greeted. You've already had a marriage with failure in this point, whereby the system that is supposed to be upholding you at this point is already on its knees. Are you going to then introduce more things that will frustrate and even shoot you in the kneecaps even further? Of course not. They won't.
See, what we know with special cases, whether it's caused by illness, whether it's caused by age, whether it's caused by mental challenges, physical challenges, it is something that we have dealt with as a matter that requires suspicion more than correct action. And that's why the things that Eric mentioned come into play. And what you're seeing is a manifestation of ignorance. Oh, the family did this, so somebody walked on the wall for them. So, crazy things. The person just has a condition that requires understanding.
And so long as there's life, those conditions are normal. As long as you have humans who are alive, those conditions are absolutely normal. Expect them to be there.
We've made a lot of progress in that area. A lot of progress, providing schools, we have
you have
associations,
organizations
of those who
make sure.
yes, there have been huge strides made in this. You know, for the longest time, Thika had this school for disabilities, okay, for special. Yes, they did for the longest time, and they've made strides. And they would cater in terms of education needed. They would look at whatever disadvantage you had and address it. And so more and more of our people have been accepted. We then enacted laws that guaranteed that these people had to be represented. Whether it's a local assembly, at the national assembly, they had to be represented. In employment, when you talk about government contracts, they have been included in government contracts, meaning strides have been made. But with these strides that we speak of, now that we have a condition that requires special understanding for everybody, what understanding have we put in place for this group of people? Because the understanding cannot be the same as everybody else's.
We'd like to hear your opinion on this. 0719-012-600. That's 0719-012-600. Also, post the comments on Facebook and Twitter, Spice FM KE. We'd love for you to join in this conversation. What is it that the government ought to do right now to address the needs immediately today of persons living with disabilities or children with special needs? Children are at home. The government is saying that these children are going to enjoy e-learning or radio and TV programming. Now, those that cannot follow such programming, what is happening to them? Those that have visual impairment, hearing impairment, you cannot tell them follow the radio or listen to TV. They need Braille. Do you have Braille facility? Are they being facilitated at home? Those that, like CT was saying, that require to go to for medical attention regularly. Is this being addressed? These are concerns that we ought to be discussing. And if you have any personal experience, please call us in 0719-012-600. That's 0719-012-600. It's 7:30.
Has it changed? No, really not much. In most parts of the city is giving all clear. Same thing happens in Mombasa and Eldoret right now. And Kisumu as well, not much traffic experienced on the roads today. The only thing that we do see quite a lot of is showers in many parts of these cities around the country. In Nairobi specifically, we say that, please be careful. Mombasa Road today, right around Cabanas, there's a bit of a hold up, but that's going to open up in a very short time. The roads are still slippery, so we ask you to move a little bit slower so that you can arrive alive. Spice FM KE, that's how you can reach us to let us know what you see. We'll spread the word.
The plight of persons with special needs during these COVID-19 times, including as well, people in refugee camps.
We haven't heard of, maybe you have, but I haven't heard of any special care that is being given to people who are in refugee camps.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning.
I have not heard.
Spice up yourself.
Not that it hasn't been done. I have not. And now that we are talking about people with special needs, refugee camps also have to meet special needs.
Indeed.
And this is something perhaps we need to be spoken to about. We need people to explain to us, those who are experts in this field. People who work for the United Nations and deal specifically with refugees need to tell us the sort of things that they have in place.
So let's go to the phone line, 0719-012-600. Mwalimu Kamau, good morning.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm very fine.
Mwalimu, what do you have to say about what we're discussing?
It's good that I'm hearing that from you because maybe you have never known this from me. I'm a person living with disability, visually impaired.
All right.
Yes, a teacher by profession.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the things that are being talked by the government about all these learning things, they don't take care of persons with disability at all.
Mm.
It is not the first time. It has been a case. It has been an issue for years.
Mm.
When they're talking about online things, yet a person with visual impairment will not even have the facilities to take care of the education per se.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for example, when you're talking about to do learning online for a person with visual impaired, this person will require extra materials to do that.
Yeah.
For example, you need talking devices. For a computer to talk, or for a laptop to talk, or for a phone to talk, it must be installed.
Yeah.
It is not free. For example, in laptop, you must need the JAWS, the VNA. It's not free.
Mm.
It becomes hard for a person with visual impaired to follow online things. It is even next to impossible for a child for primary school, secondary school, next to impossible, because when you go to at least campus and colleges, yes, maybe you have strived in a way now, and maybe you have gotten this material.
Yeah, you've bought for yourself.
You bought for yourself,
So,
which is too expensive.
Molim, what would you
Yeah.
like? What would you like to see for students who have now been taken home because the schools are closed, but they have these special needs and they still need to continue accessing learning?
You know, Eric, it is unfortunate to say this because even the government don't know what it can do. It is difficult because if you see, for example, for the braille materials, it is still expensive. Even the government don't know how. When I was learning, and I still learn, we still didn't have these materials, yet there was no COVID. They can't. It is impossible for a person with visual impaired or person with disability for now. I just think something will be done after the COVID-19, that the exams which will be done, there will be special consideration on their part, because most of the time there isn't. For now, I think the government will do nothing about that. Maybe listening radios, but it still don't work.
It will not work.
It will not work.
Mwalimu, thank you very much for your contribution this morning.
Thank you.
Victor in Nairobi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I work with KEPSA,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to contribute to that.
Right, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, I think it's not just people who have disability we're talking about here. The problem is much bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the digital divide in this country, even if you are to say everybody were able to access online materials, how about the people in the rural?
Yeah.
They would not be able to. Yeah, so in one way or the other, they're also disabled by the fact that we do not have internet everywhere. Our parents back in Shags do not have the phones that can actually enable them to get all these materials online. Yeah, so I think Prof. Magoa really needs to rethink this. He's a professor, and I think he needs to understand his stakeholders. Yes, so stakeholder mapping, when you are talking about strategies to have digital learning,
So
have you understood your stakeholders very well?
it's one of the first
So
steps.
this is one of the first steps in policy making. And it's really a bit disappointing that we have not understood that, and we are trying to press on to say things are normal, exams will be on schedule, and you're actually giving advantage to those who have capabilities to access this kind of materials online, giving them advantage over the rest, and they're going to sit for the same exams. It's really unfair.
The argument from the Ministry of Education, I don't know, but I'm imagining, would be that in fact they have stopped talking about e-learning. They're now talking about radio learning. That they've partnered with the Kenya Institute for Curriculum Development and media houses to have radio classes and TV classes, and now these are widely available across the country. What do you think of that?
First, they do not. Okay, what is the program like? Do we know what's going to be discussed on Monday, on Tuesday, like you'd know in a
Yes,
normal?
they
Yeah,
release a
they give the
timetable.
schedules.
They release a timetable.
If they did the schedule, then they're assuming everybody hears, and that is the problem. They're assuming everybody has hearing capability.
Yeah.
That is again lack of understanding your stakeholders.
Yep.
They have not given us the options for those who have hearing impairment, for those who have visual impairment.
Yeah.
And really, we are pushing a section of Kenyans over the rest. And we want to assume that they'll all be prepared for the same exams.
Victor, thank you very much for your contribution.
All right. Thank you so much.
It was a very
Thank
good
you,
point.
Victor.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
Cheers.
0719-012-600. That's 0719-012-600. Would like you to join in this conversation. We're talking about people with special needs, especially students with special needs. Now that schools have been closed, students are required to learn from home. Are those students with special needs being taken care of? Those with visual impairments, those who can hear, those who have mobility issues, are they being addressed? And we're talking about education is ongoing via other means. Is it actually really ongoing? Those in refugee camps, what special programs have been put in place for them to address them as well? And those are the kind of questions that we are asking this morning. Those are the kind of issues that we are raising. The president is about to be addressing some radio stations this morning. Our colleagues at Radio Maisha are in State House. We'll be linking up with them. And some of the questions that we are also passing over to them so that they can ask the president to follow up with the Ministry of Education. These are some of the questions.
You know, the thing that we need to bear in mind here, it isn't as though COVID-19 has suddenly brought to the fore issues that are new. No. What they've done is opened it up completely. So that against the backdrop of COVID-19, and if you're talking about a certain our state of unpreparedness, it's becoming obvious. Because you suddenly realize, because COVID has this unique trait, it has affected every inch and every space of our lives. Everything that we do and we took for granted as normal has altered. It is no longer normal. And you can take your pick. If it is social.
Which one do you want?
Yes, if it is education, if it is workplace, it is how we work, where we work. Everything about our lives has gone topsy-turvy. You are changing. So now we're focusing on, all right, there's this group of people who've always needed that special care. They've always needed special care. Now, we have a special situation that's brought to the fore these things even more. What do we do?
So we are still waiting for some people to call in. You can call in on 0719-012-600. Also remember, anytime from now, we'll be crossing over to State House, Nairobi, where our colleagues at Radio Maisha are waiting to have a word with the President Uhuru Kenyatta. I think I can see calls coming in. John is picking them and then they're dropping. But please keep trying. 0719-012-600. And also Facebook, Spice FM KE, and Twitter as well, Spice FM KE. Any comments coming in through Facebook and Twitter, Andu?
Okay, so we'll look at those in a bit. Just give me a minute to round that up.
All right. But in the meantime, so what you're saying, City, is really true. That this is just exposing our underbelly in very many ways. More ways than one, as we say.
And it's exposing in a way that we can't hide. You can't pretend.
We can't run away from this.
No, you can't throw words at this one, because you throw words, something else emerges. Just when you're telling us how you're ready for COVID, the mudslide, how do you explain that one?
Yeah. How do you?
And now, small shopping centers, chief's offices
don't exist.
Health facility disappeared completely.
Gone.
So
let's go to Molo. Charles is calling in from Molo. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning.
I'm fine. My contribution was,
yes.
What about the blind? How are they going to access the learning institution?
Who?
Hello, I'm saying.
Yes.
How are the blind going to access their learning? Maybe they have no people to extend for them further.
Yes.
Maybe they have a challenge, and even for the remote areas, maybe they have no developed technology. I can see that the government should come with an initiative whereby they are going to discuss on how those disabled are going to access their learning.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Charles. Amos in Kisumu, good morning.
Good morning, Spice FM.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, I wanted to contribute to the topic that is being discussed.
Go ahead.
Hello, Spice FM.
Yes.
Are
go ahead.
you getting me?
Yes,
Yes.
we're hearing you.
Yeah, I know what is happening right now, that we are facing the national and international disaster, coronavirus. what I feel the government should do is to now focus on the basic thing, the food. Leave alone education. Education can come later, but now you cannot learn on an empty stomach. The disabled should first be given the food first.
Yeah.
That is what I feel. When we look at education, I feel like it can still wait because the disaster just came unpreparedly. Yeah, that is what I can contribute now.
All right. Thanks for that.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So President Uhuru Kenyatta has entered the place where he's hosting journalists, and our Radio Maisha colleagues are there. So I think let's just cross over there and hear what he's saying.
Patiwa na idara mbalimbali, haswa idara ya afya. Kwa sababu huu ni ugonjwa ambao huonekani. Huu ni ugonjwa ambao huwezi kunusa. Huu ni ugonjwa labda mimi niko naye, labda wewe uko naye. Kwa hivyo kushinda huu ugonjwa ni vile sisi wenyewe kama Wakenya tutafanya. Tukitii mambo yale ambayo tumeambiwa. Tusafishe mikono. Tukae na tusikaribiane. Tuvae hizi ambazo sisi zote tuko nazo, na ndipo tumesukuma tuone na tuhakikishe zimepatikana. Tukae manyumbani. Tukisikia tuko wagonjwa, badala ya kuchanganyika na watu, tuende na tupige ripoti. Mambo haya ndio itaamua kama sisi kama taifa tutashinda hii vita kati ya corona. Hivyo ndivyo ningependa kusema.
Lakini kufikia sasa, labda unaweza sema mara ya kwanza tuliposhuhudia haya na sasa hivi mikakati ambayo umeweka, wewe kama rais unaridhishwa?
Mimi naridhishwa kwa sababu kama ni mambo ya testing sasa, tumeongeza idadi ya watu wale ambao wanakuwa tested. Sasa tunakaribia kila siku. Wakati tulianza na watu wachache, watu 10, watu 20. Tukaenda tukafika watu 100 ambao wanakuwa tested. Sasa tunakaribia watu 1000 ambao wanakuwa tested. Mbeleni tulikuwa tuna test peke yake hapa Nairobi. Sasa tuna test Mombasa, tuna test Nairobi na sehemu zingine za taifa letu la Kenya. Kwa hivyo tunaendelea kupanua hiyo testing ile ambayo tunaifanya katika taifa letu.
Na Mheshimiwa Rais, nami naitwa Boni Musambi kutoka KBC Radio Taifa. Kuna mikakati mingi ambayo serikali iliweka ili tupambane na COVID-19. Kwa mfano, hakuna kuingia wala kutoka katika baadhi ya county na vile vile curfew. Sasa Wakenya wangependa kujua, baada ya muda ulioweka wa hiyo mikakati kukamilika, serikali na mipango ya kuongezea muda zaidi?
Sitaki niseme na nijibu swali hiyo leo. Lakini hii ni mambo ambayo tunaangalia. Kwa sababu kwa sasa wakati tunaongea, tunaona sehemu zingine, na tutazitaja baadaye, nitakuwa na statement ambayo nitatoa baadaye. Kuna sehemu zingine ambazo sasa pia tumeanza kuona huu ugonjwa umeingia na umeanza kuzidi katika sehemu zingine za taifa letu la Kenya. Kwa hivyo siwezi kwa leo kuambia kama tutapanua ama tutasema sasa tumelift. Yote itategemea na zile results ambazo tumepata. Jana mmesikia, for example, tulikuwa na watu 15. Tukiendelea kupanua hatujui leo tutakuwa wangapi. Na sana vile mimi nasema ni ya kwamba jukumu letu la kwanza ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumeokoa maisha. Hiyo ndio jukumu letu la kwanza. Kwa hivyo ile mikakati ambayo tutachukua italingana na yale ambao wataalamu watatuambia tunataka tufanye, ndio tuokoe maisha. Kwa hivyo muda ukifika na unakaribia kufika na tunaendelea kujadiliana na hawa wataalamu, tutaweza kuambia Wakenya ile jukumu ingine ambalo tutaweza kuchukua wakati ukifika.
Na hapo Mheshimiwa Rais, mfungo wa mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhan unaanza. na viongozi wa Kiislamu walikuwa na ombi kwamba muda wa kafyu usogezwe mbele kwa sababu ya Ramadhan badala ya saa 1. Je, utakubaliana na hayo?
Ni vile tuliambia hata Wakristo wakati wa Easter. Right? Huwezi sherehekea usipo na uhai. Sisi tuwaheshimu dini zote. Na tunashukuru vile hata Wakristo wenyewe waliamua kusherehekea Easter. Na tukasema mwaka huu kwa sababu ya hii jango tutasherehekea kila mtu awe pahali ambapo anaishi kwake nyumbani. Tusherehekee pamoja kwa runinga, kwa maredio, kwa internet na kwingine. Mimi naomba wenzetu wa Islam wachukue msimamo huo wa kusema ya kwamba huu ni mwaka wa kipekee. Na ukiwa mwaka wa kipekee, lazima tusherehekee sikukuu zetu za kidini kwa njia ambayo haitahatarisha maisha. Kwa hivyo ningesema hivyo kwa haya. Ningesema tu wacha tukubaliane ya kwamba kwa mwaka huu hatutaweza kuwa tuafanya mambo kikawaida. Na vile Wakristo pia walisema tutatuliza sherehe zetu. Na unajua Easter ni sherehe kubwa sana kwa Wakristo. Twajua Ramadhan pia ni sherehe kubwa kwa Waislamu, lakini mwaka ukiwa vile ulivyo, tuasema wacha tutulie, wacha tufanye yale ambaye tuatakikana kufanya, kutii dini zetu mbalimbali kulingana na sheria ambazo zilipo.
Rais, jina langu ni Vincent Atea kutoka Royal Media Radio Citizen, Jambo Kenya. Kufikia sasa tumeona serikali imetia bidii katika kukusanya hela kujaribu kuwasaidia wale ambao pengine wajiwezi katika jamii. Lakini jambo kubwa ambalo wasikilizaji wetu wanauliza na Wakenya ni utaratibu wa hizo hela pengine kufikia wazee, hizo hela kufikia wale mayatima, hizo hela kufikia wale ambao wanazihitaji. Sijui ni utaratibu upi serikali imeweka kuhakikisha kwamba zitaweza kufikia ama misaada hii itafikia wale ambao wamelengwa.
Well, vile nilisema wiki iliyopita, tayari kama serikali tumetoa zaidi ya bilioni 8 sasa kuwafikia haswa wazee, walemavu, na wale ambao wametoka family ambazo hazijiwezi. Na yangu ni kusema tutatumia zile taratibu ambazo ziko, lakini tuwasema kama kuna mtu ambaye anajua ya kwamba kuna haki pahali ambaye haijafanyika au mambo kama haya, tuwasema apashe habari kwa maofisa wa serikali ambao wako karibu na yeye, apashe habari kwa vyombo vya habari kama nyinyi, tuweze kujua, kwa sababu hela tumezitoa kwa sababu ya hawa ambao wameathirika zaidi au ambao hawana uwezo wa kujisaidia wakati huu. Na hatuwezi kusema ya kwamba na hivyo ndivyo vita yetu kati ya ufisadi, ya kwamba hakuna watu wachache ambao wataweza kufanya labda mambo ya kudhulumu wengine. Kwa hivyo tuwasema tutaendelea kuhakikisha pesa tumeitoa, lakini tuambie wananchi, mkiona labda kuna pahali ambapo mnaona makosa, pasheni habari kwa polisi, pasheni habari kwa viongozi wa serikali, pasheni habari kwa vyombo vya habari ya taifa, ndio tuweze kuelewa na tuweze kuchukua hatua kwa wale ambao watafanya nyuma ya kisheria.
Wajua kwamba kuna wale walikuwa wanaonelea kwamba kama taifa manake ni msaada na serikali inasaidia wengi, ingelikuwa vyema kama pengine Wakenya wote wangefikiriwa kuhusiana na msaada kama huo.
Hiyo ndio ukweli, na ndivyo uliona ya kwamba tulichukua pia sisi yule msimamo tulichukua kupigana na hii COVID. Hatukufuata labda yale wengine walifanya. Tukasema ya kwamba wale ambao wanajiweza hatuwezi na hatutaki kufunga na tuseme watu wote wakae manyumbani. Ndio wale ambao wako na uwezo bado wa kuendelea na kazi, haja tu wafuatilie zile sheria na vikwazo ambavyo tumepatiwa na experts wetu waweze kwenda kazi. Kwa sababu tunasema wale ambao wako na uwezo wa kufanya kazi nyumbani, fanyeni nyumbani. Wale ambao hawana huo uwezo wa kufanya kazi manyumbani, tuseme endeni kazi, lakini tufuate taratibu ambazo tumepatiwa. Na wale ambao wamelemewa kabisa, ile pesa kidogo ya serikali tuko naye, jameni tuwasaidie. Na hiyo ndiyo kuja pamoja kama Wakenya kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumeshinda hii vita ambayo iko mbele yetu.
Good morning, Rais. Mimi naitwa Chris kutoka Milele FM.
Habari yako asubuhi?
Salama sana. Nataka tuzungumzie kuhusu wananchi ama mwananchi yule wa kawaida. Aswa yule ambaye analipa kodi. Rent tunavyozungumza. Wewe kama rais ulisema kwamba landlords, wamiliki wa nyumba wazingatie hali ilivyo sasa hivi na wasikize wale tenants wao. Lakini tunavyozungumza tunamuona video zikitrend, picha zikikuwa katika mitandaoni, landlords wakievict watu, kuna wengine hata wanaondoa mabati ya nyumba, wengine hata wanaondoa dirisha na milango. Jana nimekuwa nazungumza na landlord fulani ambaye alikuwa ana print eviction notice kwa wapangaji wake. Anawaeleza kwamba kama hauna uwezo wa kulipa, usikae kwa nyumba yangu, ondoka. Yule Mkenya wa kawaida utamueleza vipi, na yule landlord pia unayepi kumueleza?
Nataka niseme hivi, na ndipo nilisema kwangu mimi, na nikasema huu ni wakati mgumu kwetu sisi wote. Na nikasema yastahili sisi kama binadamu, kama Wakenya, lakini kama binadamu tuwe na huruma kwa wenzetu ambao wako katika shida hii. Na ni malandlords wengi wameamkia na wamechukua hatua ya kusema tuwajua kwamba wenzetu wako na shida, na wamesema sisi hatufukuzi mtu kwa manyumba zetu kwa sababu tunajua yale ambayo yako mbele yetu. Na wamefanya kwa sababu hii ni mali ya wenyewe, sio mali ya serikali. Ni mali ya wenyewe. Alright? So sisi tumeplead ya kwamba tafadhalini tuwe watu ambao wana huruma kwa wenzao. Na tuchukue nafasi hii ya kujionyesha ya kwamba kweli sisi ni wana wa Mungu, ya kwamba tuko na hiyo utu na hiyo huruma kwa wenzetu wakati huu mgumu. Lakini hatuwezi tukaweka sheria kwa sababu tuwasema hii ni mali ya wenyewe. Sisi kama serikali tuwafanya yale ambayo tunaweza kufanya. For example, nimesema kwa ile idara ambazo ni za serikali, nimeambia watu ya Kenya Power, hakuna mtu yeyote atakatiwa stima yake wakati huu. Hiyo naweza kufanya kwa sababu hizi ni idara za serikali. Naweza kuambia na nimewaambia, msiwahi kukata stima, msiwahi kukata maji kwa nyumba za watu wakati huu. Na hiyo mimi kama rais naweza kusema kwa sababu hizi ni idara za serikali. Lakini ikija ni mambo ya watu binafsi, naweza tu ni kuombe. Vile tunaweona Wakenya wengi wakijitokeza kutoa msaada kwa wenzao ambao wakaribia, kutoa vyakula, kutoa hizi masks, kutoa mambo kama hayo, ni kujitolea kusaidia. Ndio nilisema hata nyinyi wenye manyumba, mwenye kukodesha, tafadhalini wenzangu, Mwenyezi Mungu ametufundisha sisi wote tuwe watu wa huruma kwa wenzetu, na hakuna wakati kama huu wa kuonesha hiyo huruma na hiyo understanding kwa wenzako.
Bado rais, tena kwangu, Ghost Mle kutoka Radio Jambo, kitengo cha patanisho. Kuna hizi habari ambazo tumepokea. Kenya ni rafiki mkubwa sana wa nchi jirani, na kuna baadhi ya Wakenya ambao labda wana matatizo kule China. Tumeona Waafrika wengi na Kenya, nyinyi kama wafanyabiashara na China, je, ni mikakati gani serikali itachukua labda kusaidia Wakenya ambao labda wamekwama kule nje, kwa sababu wengi walikuwa labda wanataka kurudi lakini wanasema kwamba hawana nauli, hali ngumu, wamefukuzwa majumbani kwao. Sijui serikali inafanya vipi?
Mambo haya tunayangalia on a case by case basis, na kulingana na umuhimu na haraka ya yale mambo yalipo mbele yetu. Na tumesema tunajua kuna wengine ambao wamekuwa stuck na walikuwa huko kwa biashara halali ama kwa kutibiwa, kama wale ambao for example wako India. Tunafanya ranking yetu, tunasema kwa sababu ni wengi, tuko na Wakenya ambao wako India, wako China, wako United Kingdom, wako America, wako katika nchi nyingi, wengine walikuwa South Sudan, na kila area tunajaribu kuona ni kwa njia gani tunaweza kuwasaidia ndio hawa watu waweze kurudi manyumbani, na pia kwa wakati huu ni kwa njia gani tutasaidiana na serikali za nchi ambazo walipo kuhakikisha ya kwamba watu hawa wametunzwa kwa njia ambayo inatakikana, right? Na ile shida ambayo iko haikumbi tu wa Kenya. Mumeona hata kuna wengi ambao ni wa Uingereza ambao wamekuwa caught up in South America, wamekuwa caught up in India, wamekuwa na hao wametoka nchi kubwa, lakini bado wako na hiyo tabu ya kujaribu kurudi makwao. So sisi na uwezo wetu tuwajaribu kuona tutasaidia watu wetu ambao wako nje kwa njia gani. Na ndipo tunasema kama uko na uwezo tunapanga kwingine. Kulikuwa wale ambao walikuwa caught up upande ya Dubai, yeah? Na tukasema wacha tuone hawa wako na ndege, labda vile tuwaweza tupange watu walipe ile kidogo wako naye warudi. Na tutaendelea kufanya hivyo kwa wote wale ambao wako caught up katika nchi mbalimbali. Lakini tuseme kwa ukweli, hakuna ndege ambazo zinatembea leo, hakuna meli za wananchi ambazo zinatembea leo. So kupata hizo nafasi inakuwa ni kweli ni ngumu mpaka wakati tutaweza kurudi normal state of affairs. Kwa hivyo yetu ni kusema tutaendelea kujaribu kulingana na uwezo ule ambapo tuko nao.
Mheshimiwa Rais, ni Boni Musambi tena kutoka Zinga Radio Taifa. Kuna kampuni nyingi sana ambazo zimelemewa upande wa biashara na zimeamua kukata wafanyikazi wake asilimia fulani. Kampuni nyingine hata zinakata asilimia 50 ya mshahara. Nyingine hata zinafuta watu. Hisia zako ni zipi kama rais mpenda taifa kuhusiana na jambo hilo?
Ni kweli, na ndipo uliona tukisema ya kwamba kitu cha kwanza ambacho tulifanya wakati tulisema tunaenda sisi partial lockdown ya majioni, tukasema tuanze na yale ambayo tuko na uwezo wa kufanya. Tukasema tutakata kodi kwa wale ambao wanalipwa riziki ya chini ndio tuweze kuwasaidia. Tukasema tuende na tukate income tax pia ndio tuweze kusaidia makampuni mbalimbali. Tukasema tuende na tukate VAT na ndio watu wawe na uwezo zaidi wa kujisimamia. Hiyo sio kusema ya kwamba hakuna sekta zingine zetu ambazo zimeumia zaidi, kama sekta za utalii, mahoteli, mikahawa, ya? Na wengine ambao kwa sababu ya ukosefu wa biashara wamesababisha watu yao wote labda kwenda manyumbani. Hii ni kitu ambayo tunashughulikia kama serikali, na tunataka kuona ni mikakati gani tunaweza kufanya ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba hizi biashara zimeweza kurudi tena na ndio wananchi waweze kurudi kwa hayo makazi. Na ndipo mimi naendelea kila siku kusisitiza ile jambo, nasema kila wakati, jameni wa Kenya, tuko na shida. Na hii vita haitashindwa na mtu mmoja ama serikali peke yake, inatuhitaji sisi wote. Kwa hivyo mimi naona vibaya sana wale ambao wanaenda kando na kukataa kutii sheria ambazo zitatuwezesha kupambana na kumaliza hii jangwa kwa muda mfupi ndio tuweze kurudi hali yetu ya kikawaida. Na ndipo naendelea kusii kwa Wakenya wenzetu, jameni tutii ile masharti ambayo tumepatiwa ndio tuweze kwa muda mfupi kupambana na haya, na ndio hawa wananchi wetu, hawa Wakenya wenzetu ambao sasa waangamia kwa sababu biashara zao zimefungwa, waweze kurudi kazi, waweze kujitegemea, waweze kujisimamia tena. So yangu ni kusema tutaendelea, nimekuambia ile mikakati tuliweka hapo awali, tunaendelea kuongeza haswa vile nimesema, hata ile pesa tumetolea wale ambao wameathirika sana. Lakini pia kuna hawa ambao kwa ukweli wameambiwa wakae manyumbani kwa sababu biashara zile walikuwa wanafanya kazi kati zao zimefungwa. Na tutaendelea kuangalia ni kwa njia gani tutaweza kuwasaidia, lakini njia kubwa ya kuwasaidia wao ni sisi wenyewe kutii yale ambaye tunaambiwa, ndio tupambane na hii jango, na kama Wakenya tuweze kurudi pahali ambapo tulikuwa na tuweze kurudisha makazi yetu.
Rais Vincent Atea kutoka Radio Citizen Jambo Kenya. Hapo mahala pa nidhamu na kutii sheria. Jana kumekuwa na taarifa kwamba kuna baadhi ya Wakenya ambao wanatoroka kwenye maeneo ya quarantine. Na unasema kwamba tunahitaji kutii sheria kama hizi. Na wakiulizwa wengine wanasema kwamba gharama ya kukaa kwenye quarantine kidogo iko juu. Sijui rais hapa utasemaje?
Wajua kuna group mara mbili. Na tumesema kuna wale ambao wamewekwa kwa quarantine kwa sababu walikuwa wametoka nje. Na kwa sasa tungekuwa na wachache sana uko kwa quarantine kwa sababu ile group ambaye sisi tulikuwa tunategemea kulinda ni wale ambao walikuwa wametoka nje. So tulikuwa tunasema wale wako na uwezo walikuwa wanaenda mahoteli kadhaa ambao tulikuwa tumetenga, wale ambao hakuwa na uwezo tulikuwa tumewapatia pahali ambapo walikuwa wanakaa bila malipo. Lakini tuko na group ingine ya wale ambao wanashikwa bila kutii sheria. Wewe umeshikwa kwa sababu ulikuwa unatakikana kuwa unafanya self quarantine, umekataa, umeshikwa ukirandaranda huko nje. Kwa nini sasa wewe uwe mzigo wa Mkenya ule ambaye anatii sheria? Tunaelewana? Ya? Kwa nini sasa wewe wale wengine wameshikwa wamevunja curfew, wameshikwa wakiwa sehemu mbalimbali. Kwa nini wewe uwe mzigo wa Mkenya ambaye anatii sheria? Tungependa kwanza kusaidia wale ndugu yangu hapa alikuwa anasema, mbele ya kusaidia wewe ambao umewekwa kwa quarantine kwa sababu ulikosa kutii ile sheria ambayo inatuwezesha kupambana na hii jangwa. Kwa hivyo for those ones, hata wale tuliona wakitoroka tutawapata na watarudi na wataendelea mpaka watamaliza kipindi chao cha quarantine. So mtu asione ametoroka ameshinda. Haja, tunakujua na tutakupata na utarudi pale pale.
Rais, kidogo kabla nimpishe mwenzangu kutoka Milele. Na swali lingine tu ambalo nilikuwa nataka kuangazia, mojawapo wa agenda zako kuu ni afya. Na hali ilivyo kufikia sasa, ukiangalia hali ya afya ilivyo nchini, imedhihirika wazi kwamba tunahitaji kuwekeza zaidi katika sekta ya afya, manake hospitali nyingi, ICU tumeangalia, vitanda na kadhalika. Je, hii agenda yako itaweza kutimia?
Mimi naamini tutaweza kuitimiza. Kwa sababu naweza nikuambie kwa muda huu ambao tuko na nyinyi hapa, pahali ambapo tumefika, hatujafika pahali tunataka kwenda. Bado tuko na kazi nyingi. Lakini pahali nchi yetu ya Kenya imefika, tuko mbele zaidi hata ya nchi ambazo zimetukaribia hapa. Na tutaendelea kusisitiza ya kwamba tunataka pia kwenda hata juu zaidi. Mimi naweza kukuambia kuna kaunti zetu zingine ambazo ziko na nafasi ama mahospitali na equipment za mahospitali kushinda hata nchi zingine. Kaunti moja, mimi sisemi nchi ya Kenya, kaunti moja. Ya? Na hii ndio ukweli. Hatujafika pahali ambapo tunataka. Lakini kwa ukweli we have made major strides. Na tutaendelea kwa sababu mimi naamini mambo haya ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba Wakenya wana uwezo wa kujisimamia mambo ya afya, mambo ya chakula, right? Na ile big four agenda yetu, hiyo bado itaendelea kuwa msimamo wangu na mwelekezo wangu kama rais wa hii jamhuri kwa muda ambapo niko nao. Na nitaendelea. Hii ni issue ambaye hakuna mmoja wetu angetarajia. So lazima tupambane naye, lakini bado tunaelekea na bado tutaendelea na ile agenda yetu ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba zile agenda zetu 4 kubwa za taifa, Mwenyezi Mungu akitujalia na tufanye kazi ile ambayo tunafanya, tutaweza bado kuzitimiza.
Mheshimiwa Rais, Chris Debez kutoka Milele FM, Itambe Milele. Ningependa tuende shuleni. Wewe mwenyewe umesema kwamba kuna sekta mbalimbali ambazo zimeathirika kwa sababu ya virusi vya corona. Tukiangazia utalii, lakini pia shuleni, elimu pia kidogo kumekuwa na mkanganyiko kidogo pale. Hivi sasa wanafunzi wanasoma kupitia runinga, kupitia televisheni, kupitia internet, lakini kuna asilimia fulani ambao hawana uwezo wa kufikia runinga, internet, labda redio, tutawasaidia vipi Mheshimiwa Rais?
Tunaendelea kuona ni kwa njia gani tutaweza, kwa sababu vile nimesema na tunashukuru stesheni zetu mbalimbali ambazo zimekubalia na zinatusaidia kama serikali kuweka hizo programs ambazo zinasaidia watoto wetu ambao wako nyumbani waweze kuendelea na masomo yao. Na vile sasa, na ile jukumu kubwa tuko naye sasa sana ni ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba haswa wale watoto wetu ambao wanatarajia kufanya mitihani yao wataweza kufanya hiyo mitihani kwa njia gani. Na Wizara ya Elimu sasa wanaendelea kuangalia ile mikakati tutaweza kuweka haswa wakati tutavuka hii shida ambayo tuko naye. Na nafikiri hivi karibuni tutakuwa tunatoa taratibu ya vile watoto wetu wataweza polepole kuanza kurudi kwa mashule, na ile taratibu ambazo tutaweka ndio wale ambao haswa, kwa sababu hawa ndio we are most concerned about, yeah? Wale ambao wanafanya mitihani watafanya hiyo mitihani kwa njia gani, na huo muda ambao wamepoteza wakiwa manyumbani wataweza kukatch up kwa njia gani. Lakini hivi karibuni tutakuwa na wakati ya kuongea zaidi kuhusu vile hawa watoto wetu tutawasaidia, haswa vile nimesema wale ambao wanafanya mitihani yao mwaka huu, ni kwa njia gani tutahakikisha ya kwamba wameweza kukatch up yale ambao wamepoteza wakati huu tumekuwa tukipigana na hii jangwa.
Kwa hivyo kufikia sasa, just to make it clear Mheshimiwa Rais, kufikia sasa bado mitihani itaendelea jinsi ilivyopangwa? Kufikia
sasa mitihani lazima itaendelea, lakini lazima tujue itakuwa lini, itakuwa na itafanywa namna gani. Hiyo lazima, ndio nimesema wakati wake ukifika tutakuja to elaborate in more detail vile tutaweza kuhakikisha ya kwamba mambo haya yameweza kufanyika na watu wasipoteze au to reduce ile nafasi ya watoto wetu kujitayarisha kwa hiyo mitihani. Shukran.
Labda mtukufurahi sana Jacob Gosmle kutoka Radio Jambo kitengo cha patanisho. Nilishukuru sana juzi ulikuja mechi ya FC na Gor Mahia, na mimi ni mwanaspoti. Sasa na nikashukuru sana wasanii uliweza kuwatengea kitu. Sasa sisi kama wanaspoti haswa kitengo cha kabumbu, unajua KPL imeadhirika sana na haya mambo. Sijui ni mikakati gani labda unapanga kwa wanaspoti hapa nchini?
Well, tuwasema ya kwamba kwa muda huu tumesema watu watulie manyumbani na michezo mingi imewekwa kando. Nafikiri I will just join kama vile tulikuwa tumeongea juu ya wale ambao wamepoteza kazi kwa sababu ya mahoteli na mikahawa na mambo mengine kufungwa, na hawa wenzetu pia, hata hawa sekta yao ni moja ambaye imeathirika vile ya hawa wengine, na tutaendelea kuona ni kwa njia gani tutaweza kuwasaidia wakati tunapanga haswa wakati ya kujitokeza kwa hii jangwa. We want to say hatutaki kuacha Mkenya yeyote nyuma. Tunataka kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumesaidia wote kulingana na uwezo wetu kama nchi, kuhakikisha ya kwamba wale ambao wako na tabu tumeweza kuwaokoa kwa njia moja ama ingine. Kwa hivyo hata wanaspoti wetu hatujawasahau, na tutaendelea kuona haswa kupitia sports fund na mambo mengine ni kwa njia gani tutaweza pia kuwashikilia na kuwasaidia wakati huu mgumu ambapo hawana uwezo wa kuendelea na yale ambao wanafanya kikawaida.
Mheshimiwa Rais Boni Musambi kutoka Zinga Radio Taifa, sauti ya Mkenya. Nafurahi umesema kwamba the big four agenda zitaendelea licha ya changamoto ya COVID-19, na mojawapo ya agenda hizo ni food security. Wakati huu Wakenya wengi wana wasiwasi kuhusu chakula. COVID ikiendelea tutakuwa na chakula, lakini ajabu ni kwamba kuna wakulima ambao wana vyakula vya kutosha nyumbani, lakini wanashangaa vitanunuliwa na nani? Labda serikali ina mikakati ya kununua vyakula kutoka kwa wakulima, mahindi na kadhalika, na hapo serikali yako ina mikakati ya kuanzisha food banks kama vile tumeona katika baadhi ya mataifa.
Sisi tunaendelea kununua na tunaendelea, na nataka nirudie yale niliwaambia ya kwanza. ndipo sisi kama taifa tulisema ya kwamba we don't want to go for a total lockdown. Na hata wakati huu ambapo tunaongea, right? Masoko yetu bado yaendelea. Chakula bado iko kwa masoko na wananchi wako na nafasi ya kuingia na kununua. Bado tunaendelea na mikakati yetu ya kupatia wakulima wetu fertilizer, wachukue nafasi ya hii mvua waweze kuendelea na ukulima wao. Bado na hawa ni wakulima wa mahindi, ni wakulima wa mchele. Bado tunaendelea kuhakikisha ya kwamba like I'm saying, fertilizers bado ziko available na market chains imeendelea. Pia tulisema wakati tulifunga, tulisema one of the essential services ambazo wako na ruhusa ya kuendelea ni wale ambao wanabeba mizigo kutoka mashambani kulete kwa soko. Kwa hivyo as far as I'm concerned, mimi naona ya kwamba bado tunaendelea kushikilia ile barabara yetu ya kuhakikisha tuko na food security. Wakulima wetu bado wako kwa mashamba. Juzi hata wakulima wetu wa kahawa tumepatia na tumehakikisha ya kwamba tumewasaidia na fertilizer kwa mara ya kwanza ndio waweze kuendelea na huo ukulima wao. Tunataka kuanza mambo hata ya pamba upande ya kule Kerio Valley na kwingine. Tumeanza hii BT cotton ambaye sasa hiyo itapatia wakulima wa sehemu hiyo nafasi kubwa zaidi, right? Ya kuweza kukuza pamba, right? So vyakula na mimea pia ya kupeleka kwa soko na ya kuuza. We have not abandoned agenda yetu ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba agriculture continues to play a pivotal role katika mikakati yetu ya serikali na katika agenda yetu ya Big Four ile ambayo tunaelekezea.
Vincent Atea kutoka Radio Citizen. Rais, kuna jambo ambalo kwa hivi sasa, manake COVID-19 ni jambo la ulimwengu, na kwa hivi sasa kumekuwa na ile vuta ni kuvute kuhusiana. China ni rafiki yetu kibiashara kama taifa, Marekani ni rafiki wa Kenya katika maendeleo na biashara kimataifa, lakini kwa hivi sasa tunaona kwamba kuna baadhi ya vuta ni kuvuta ambayo inaendelea, na katika baadhi ya mataifa hata Afrika kuna baadhi ya mataifa ambapo wananchi unapata wanaleta uhasama kati ya Wachina na wenyeji. Lakini sisi kama taifa tutasimama vipi na hawa washirika wetu wa kibiashara?
Mimi nasema hivi, sisi tuko na shida ya jangwa ambaye haikuwa au haikuanza hapa kwetu Kenya ama kontinenti letu la Afrika. Na mimi msimamo wangu wa kwanza ni ya kwamba sisi hatutaingia vita kati ya wao ambao wametuletea hii shida ati tuchukue upande huu ama upande ule. Sisi jukumu letu la kwanza ni kusaidia Wakenya wenzetu hapa Kenya. Na sisi tutasaidiana na yule yeyote ambaye ako tayari kuungana pamoja nasi kupambana na hii jangwa, na haswa yule ambaye ako tayari kuungana nasi wakati tena wa kufufua uchumi ambao umezoroteka kwa sababu ya hii jangwa. So mimi sitaingilia ati mimi niko upande huu ama upande ule. Mimi niko upande ya Wakenya, mimi niko na pamoja na wale ambao wataungana na sisi kuhakikisha tumepambana na huu ugonjwa, na baada yake tumeshirikiana kupanua na kurudisha uchumi wetu pahali ambapo ulikuwa. Kwa hivyo hii vita kati ya hawa, I find it very unfortunate, na sisi kama Kenya hatutaingilia. Sisi hatuna haja na vita ya wenyewe. Sisi haja yetu ni wananchi wetu, ni uchumi wetu, ni taifa letu.
Hapo kwa uchumi, kuna wale ambao walikuwa wanasema kwamba kabla hali kama hii kutokea, uchumi wetu tulikuwa tunang'ang'ana kuufufua, lakini sasa biashara inafunga na kadhalika, na pia madeni ambayo taifa liko nalo. Baada ya haya yote tuna uwezo wa kuinuka kiuchumi.
Mimi sina shaka ya kwamba tuko na huo uwezo. Mimi sina shaka. Kwa sababu hata hapo awali watu walikuwa wanasema tuko na huu mzigo. Hakuna siku moja taifa letu la Kenya limewahi kukosa kulipa deni yake. Hakuna siku hata moja sisi tumeshindwa kulipa mishahara ama kuendelea na miradi yetu ya maendeleo. Kwa hivyo mimi sioni shida ya kuweza kurudi pahali ambapo tulikuwa. Ile mimi sitaki kuingilia ni hizi arguments, kwa sababu ukisikia huyo wa Amerika wanasema hizi nchi ziko na shida, kwa sababu sisi hakuna siku moja mmetuona tukiandikwa pahali ya kwamba tumeshindwa kulipa madeni yetu. Hakuna siku ambayo umesikia tumeweza kufunga hii ama ile kwa sababu tuko na shida ya uchumi. We have been moving on very successfully, na mimi sina shaka ya kwamba tukishamaliza huu mkondo, na bado mpaka sasa hata tukipigana na hii jangwa, hii ugonjwa, bado tunaendelea sisi wengine kuweka ile mikakati ambaye tutachukua baada ya huu ugonjwa kuisha, kuhakikisha ya kwamba uchumi wetu umerudi.
Mheshimiwa Rais Chris the Best kutoka Milele FM kwa mara nyingine. Kwanza naomba upokee salamu kutoka kwa wasanii. Wasanii wanakusalimia sana.
Mimi na wasalimia. Naona niligongwa nikiambiwa ya kwamba lakini hiyo ahadi, by the way,
yes,
haikuwa ahadi ya COVID. Kama mweza mkumbuke, tulitoa ahadi hiyo, nikasema in January tukiwa Mombasa, nikasema kitu kimoja ambacho ningependa tuhakikishe tumefanya baada ya miezi 4, 100 days, ile nilisema 100 days target. Moja yake ilikuwa ya kwamba tutasaidia wasanii ile pesa ambao wanaimba wanafanya, badala ingie mifuko ya wengine ingie mifuko yao.
Okay.
Ikawa tu mimi natangaza pamoja na mambo yale mengine ya COVID, nasema imetoa pesa ya serikali kupatia wasanii. Hiyo sio pesa ya serikali, hiyo ni pesa yao.
Okay.
Kulingana na ile ahadi ambayo tulitoa, na tutaendelea kuwasaidia waweze kuendelea, na tuhakikishe ya kwamba haki itafanyika. Pesa ya wale ambao wametoa akili zao, talanta zao, kuimba nyimbo na kufanya mengine, itaingia mifuko ya hawa vijana, sio mifuko yenu nyinyi. Watu nyinyi ndio mnacheza muziki yao na hamuwalipi. Sasa tumehakikisha ya kwamba mtawalipa.
Mheshimiwa Rais, unajua wasanii wengi wamekuwa kiniambia, jamani, ikiwemo Jalango ambaye yuko kwa studio sasa hivi, ananiambia hebu muulize Rais, hiyo pesa itafika vipi kwa mfuko, haswa ile milioni 100 ambayo ulikuwa umetenga.
No, hiyo mikakati tumeweka iko pamoja through wizara ya ICT, yeah? Ambao ndio wameweka radio stations, TV stations, wale wa Safaricom na ile mtandao yao ya Sikiza na wengine. Hawa ndio wameweka the system together na association hii ya musicians, na hawa wako na ile taratibu ya vile hiyo pesa itagawiwa hawa wasanii wote kulingana na ile taratibu wako naye. Na nafikiri nitaambia Waziri Mshero ambaye yuko huko kwa ACT akuje wakae na Jalango amueleze hii ndio taratibu ambazo tumeweka.
Mheshimiwa Rais, labda tu nikimalizia, tunazungumzia kuhusu ile mass testing ambaye serikali imesema itaanza very soon. Labda mikakati ni yapi ili tuhakikishe kwamba inafanikiwa na Wakenya wakaona nini ya kufanya kuhakikisha kwamba pia Mkenya anapata kupimwa na kila kitu kinaenda salama?
Tutafanya mass testing but targeted testing.
Okay.
Alright. Tunataka haswa kwenda sehemu amba tuseme estates ambazo tumeona ya kwamba kuna wengi ambao wameambukizwa ambao wametoka estate fulani. So tutaanza, hiyo ndio itakuwa targeting. Ama tuseme tunataka kutarget wafanyikazi wetu wa afya, yeah? Na sasa ni kama tumefanya mass testing kule KPA kwa sababu huko pia ni pahali ambapo tumepata wachache ambao wako na hiyo problem. So mass testing yetu itakuwa ile targeted mass testing, na nafikiri vile mimi nimesema nitawachia hiyo wataalamu wale ambao wanafanya hiyo kazi, wataweza waambie hivi ndivyo itafanyika. Lakini tayari tumeanza, what we need to do now ni ku scale up, na nafikiri by hata weekend hii tutakuwa tunafanya an average ya watu 2,000 kwenda juu kutoka hii weekend. But yetu mass testing ni ile targeted mass testing kulingana na pahali ambapo tumeona ugonjwa ukiwa mwingi.
Shukrani. Mtukufu Rais, kwa swali langu labda la mwisho, unajua katika kabumbu tunasema offside, lakini si offside sana kwa sababu sisi ni nchi ambayo tunategemea utalii na mbuga zetu za wanyama utapata kwamba zinatuletea pesa kubwa sana. Juzi nimesoma katika gazeti kwamba mbuga ya wanyama ambayo ni ya kipekee duniani ya Nairobi National Park, kuna hoteli ambayo inataka kutengezwa pale, na sisi kama Friends of the National Park tunajua kwamba labda itakuwa gazetted wakati wa COVID, hatuwezi tukaungana sote. Sijui kama hii inaweza irishwa mpaka tumalize hii ama itakuwa gazetted, kwa sababu ni swala mimi linaniuma kwa sababu nashinda kwa ile mbuga karibu kila wiki. Sasa hoteli ikitengezwa pale sijui kama itainterfere ama mambo yatakuwa vipi.
Sina details exactly, lakini kwa sababu umeniuliza hiyo swali, wacha niangalie na nitahakikisha ya kwamba kama kawaida, kama serikali tutaweza kuhakikisha ya kwamba we have had stakeholder involvement na decisions zote ambazo zitachukuliwa. So siwezi kuongea specifically juu ya hii kwa sababu sio mimi nahusika, lakini kwa sababu sasa umenieleza, nitajaribu niulize na nihakikishe ya kwamba tuko na sufficient stakeholder involvement mbele ya decision yoyote kuchukuliwa.
Asante sana Rais.
Mheshimiwa Rais Boni Musambi tena kutoka Radio Taifa, swali la mwisho lakini nitauliza mawili. Mimi natokea Kitui kule kwa Kikotek ikiongozwa na Her Excellency Madam Charity Kalukingilu. Unaweza sema tangu Kikotek ianze kutengeneza maski Kenya imesaidika vipi? Kwa sababu kuna baadhi ya watu wanasema kwamba hawajapokea mask kutoka Taita huko ndani na kwingine. Na mwisho kabisa, labda ni changamoto ambazo mnakumbana nazo kama serikali katika vita dhidi ya coronavirus.
Ya kwanza tulianza na kusema ya kwamba tulete hii vitu kutoka nje, lakini baadaye tukaona ya kwamba tuko na uwezo katika viwanda vyetu mbalimbali kutengeneza hivi vitu. Na nataka kumshukuru Mama Charity Ngilu kwa sababu alichukua nafasi hiyo kusema ya kwamba wataanza kutengeneza hiyo masks. Na kuna kampuni zingine mingi ambazo zinatengeneza hizi PPEs ambazo madaktari wetu wanahitaji, ambao wanatengeneza pia hizi masks ambazo tunavaa. Na tunaendelea kuhakikisha na kuwauliza waendelee kuzishona na ndio ziweze kuwa as widely distributed as possible. Tumekubaliana for example na magovernors ya kwamba juzi, kwa sababu hiyo ilikuwa shida moja, ya kwamba badala ya kusema watagojea waende wanunue kule Kemsa, tumewapatia nafasi sasa magovernor waweze kwenda direct huko kwa hiyo factory ya Kitui, waweze kwenda kwa zile factory ambazo ziko kule EPZ, waweze kwenda kwa factory ambazo ziko Nakuru na kwingine, wanunue directly na ndio waweze kusambaza hizi masks kwa wananchi wao. Kwa hivyo hiyo mikakati tumeweka ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba as many people as possible are able to access hizi masks, na tutaendelea kufanya hivyo. Ya pili, nafikiri changamoto kubwa zaidi ni ile ya watu kurahisisha yale ambao kama nchi tunapitia, taking light mambo yale ambayo yako mbele yetu. Na unaona watu deliberately kukosa kutii na kuambia wengine hamna shida. Na tabu ni ya kwamba wengi ambao unaona wakifanya haya ni wale ambao wako na uwezo, ndio wanaendelea kusambaza mambo ambayo ni ya kupotosha na sio ya ukweli. Badala ya kufocus watu on how we shall deal with this, ndio wanapotosha kusema sisi tunaenda, unasikia tunaenda. Na ndipo tumesema watu kama hao, watu ambao wataendelea kukosa kutii sheria ni kama wale ambao ulikuwa unaniuliza hapo awali. Ukishikwa ukivunja hizo regulations, mimi nimesema ya kwamba hakuna haja ya kukupeleka kwa polisi. Polisi wako na kazi nyingi ya kutulinda sisi. Wakiwashika hawa, waende wawaweke huko kwa quarantine, wakae huko siku 11, wakivunja tena waongezewe siku nyingine 11, kwa sababu lazima tuwe watu ambao watafanya yale ambayo itatakikana kutusaidia sisi wote kuweza kurudisha nchi yetu katika rutini ya kazi. And we cannot have a few people wawe ndio wataturudisha sisi wote nyuma kwa hizo tabia mbaya ambazo wanajaribu kuendelesha. So I think hiyo ndio changamoto moja kubwa. Ingine of course ni ile ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba tunaweza kuendelea kupata ile equipment mbalimbali ya testing na mambo mengine, haswa wakati huu ambapo ndege hazitembei, hakuna njia nyingi ya kuleta mizigo. So hiyo pia ni changamoto. Vile pia mizigo yetu, unajua kama taifa pia sio utalii peke yake ambao ndugu yetu walikuwa wanataja hapa, lakini pia tunategemea soko za nje, wale ambao wanatuma maua, wale ambao wanatuma mboga, ambazo zinakuzwa katika sehemu mbalimbali Kenya hii, Naivasha na kwingine, ambayo inaandika watu maelfu, hiyo mizigo itaweza kuendelea kuuzwa huko kwa njia gani? Hiyo ni kati ya shida mbalimbali ambazo of course tuko nazo.
Rais Vincent Atea, Radio Citizen, swali la mwisho linaangazia hapo kwa hizo changamoto. Kuna mataifa mengi ya Afrika yametoa wito kwa wafadhili wa hisani waweze kuwasaidia kifedha kukabiliana na janga hili la COVID-19. Vile ulisema sio shida yetu, ni shida tuliletewa. Sijui kama Kenya tunahitaji pia msaada na ufadhili wa kimataifa. Namba 2 hapo kwa ufadhili. Kuna Wakenya sasa hivi makampuni yanachanga, yanatoa hela, watu wanatoa vitu, mask na kadhalika. Lakini tatizo letu, na wewe kama rais umeonekana kuzungumzia kidete waziwazi kuhusiana na ufisadi. Kuna Wakenya wanahofu, wanasema kwamba tunachanga pesa tu lakini zitaliwa, zitapotea. Pengine tu msimamo wako, manake mara nyingi kumekuwa na tatizo, nia ni nzuri lakini pesa upotea tu.
Niseme kwanza kwa wale wafadhili wa hapa kwetu ambao wamejitolea kibinafsi kwa njia nyingine ama nyingine kusaidia wenzao. Sisi tumesema ya kwamba wenyewe watatuambia ni kwa njia gani wangependa hiyo pesa itumike. Wenyewe watahusika kuhakikisha ya kwamba hiyo pesa ambayo wametoa au hiyo mali ambayo imetolewa imefikia kwa wale ambao wangependa wafikiwe na hiyo ama huo msaada. Sisi kama serikali kazi yetu itakuwa tu kuliezi. Tukasema hatutaki kuona ile shida tuliona for example in Kibira, watu kwenda tu bila mpango ikakuja ikatuletea shida. Tukasema kama serikali, hawa wafadhili wote, hawa wote ambao wanatusaidia wako na haki ya kusema hii hela, hii mizigo ambayo nimetoa ningependa iende pahali fulani, itumike kwa njia fulani. Tumesema hawa ndio wataamua wenyewe, sio sisi kama serikali. Sisi njia yetu itakuwa kuwasaidia kupanga, ndio tusiwe na confusion wakati ya kupatiana those goods. Kwa nchi za nje, sisi kama Kenya pia tumeweza kufaidika, kwa sababu unajua ya kwamba wale G20 walikutana na wakasema ya kwamba kwa nchi zote za Afrika na zingine kutakuwa na moratorium ya muda wa mpaka mwisho wa mwaka. Hakuna nchi ambaye itaagizwa ilipe principal ama ilipe interest. Sisi kama Kenya tumefaidika, kwa hiyo tunaendelea na majadiliano yetu bilateral, inchi kwa inchi. Hata leo afternoon pia tuna mkutano mwingine. Unajua Kenya ni part of bureau ya African Union. So chairman wetu saa 8 leo tutakuwa na mkutano na viongozi wa Afrika wengine. Pia kuendelea na kujadiliana ya kwamba how shall we deal na economic effects ya hii jangwa, pamoja na vile tutaendelea kusaidiana na kuhakikisha ya kwamba hawa nchi za nje ambazo tunasaidiana nazo ni mipango gani tunaweza kuwa pamoja na wao ya kutusaidia sisi kama nchi za Afrika wakati huu ambapo tunapambana na jangwa, lakini sana sana pia wakati ambapo tunatoka, tutasaidiana kwa njia gani kuhakikisha ya kwamba uchumi wetu kama kontinenti la Afrika utaweza kuendelea vile ulikuwa.
Mheshimiwa Rais Chris Debez again kutoka Milele FM. Maswali ya mwisho. Nina maswali mawili. Isikuchekeshe rais. Swali langu la kwanza ni kwamba hivi sasa tunashuhudia mvua nchini, na kuna sehemu kama Elgeyo Marakwet ambao kumekuwa na changamoto mporomoko wa ardhi, na tumemsikiza hata Governor Lunyangapuo akisema kwamba kuna changamoto katika vita dhidi ya virusi vya corona, kwa sababu watu wamekusanyika katika mashule, wale ambao hawana makwao. Labda serikali yetu inafanya nini kuhakikisha kwamba wale wanashinda pia vita dhidi ya corona?
Tunaendelea kusaidiana. Unajua wakati huo mmonyoko ulifanyika uko West Pokot, tulituma maofisa wetu wa serikali pamoja na jeshi, na bado hata sasa wako huko wakipeleka chakula na mambo mengine, kusaidiana pamoja na governor wa West Pokot na pia governor wa Marakwet, Elgeyo Marakwet, kwa sababu ili affect hizo counties mbili. Jana pia mliona juzi, kwa sababu hii mvua tumeona imeingia tena, imeingia muda mfupi kutoka ile mvua ingine, na nilisababisha waziri Matiang'i na waziri wa special programs wa Malwa na waziri wa energy wa Kawi Keter waende na waanze kuambia Wakenya lazima we must be ready, kwa sababu hatujui ni damage nyingine gani tunaweza kuwa naye kwa sababu ya hii mvua ambaye sasa tuko naye. Na tumesema ya kwamba watu waondoke katika maeneo ambaye iko karibu na mito. Tumesema haswa upande ya Masinga, tuko na ile damu yetu kubwa pale ambaye imejaa, hatujui na maji imeanza kuspill over. Tumesema area za Kitui, area za Tana River kwenda chini, watu waondoke karibu na hiyo mito, na tumewaambia hii warning mapema, na tuna hope hata nyinyi waandishi, na tumeinform pia county commissioners wetu wahakikishe wananchi wamepashiwa habari ya kwamba kunaweza kuwa na shida upande huu wa Murang'a pia, ambapo pia kuna kuwa huo mudslides pia. Tumesema watu waende to higher ground, waondoke katika sehemu ambazo zinaweza kuwa na shida. All we are hoping is wananchi watachukua hizi warnings, early warnings, kwa sababu hatutaki kupoteza maisha. So we are out there warning Kenyans, tafadhali, tuko sasa katika wakati ya shida. Tumeona yale ambayo yametokea West Pokot yanaweza kuhappen in a lot of these other places. Watu wajitahadhari, na tunaambia watu tuungane pamoja, let us go to safe areas, ndio tuhakikishe kwamba tumejiokoa kwa shida ambazo zinaweza kutokea kwa sababu ya hii mvua ambayo tuko naye.
Asante sana. Swali la mwisho sasa, kulikuwa na research ambayo ilipigwa na unasema kwamba kuna 11% ambao wako na wasiwasi kuhusiana na virusi vya corona, lakini sio sana. Lakini kuna 14% ambao hao hawana wasiwasi kabisa, in fact hawajali kuhusu masuala ya corona. Labda hiyo 25% yao wa Kenya ambao wana wasiwasi, ningependa uzungumze nao asubuhi ya leo.
Mimi yangu ni kuambia wenzangu, mtu hajui shida mpaka ikuangukie wewe, right? Na mimi ombi langu kwa wao ni ya kwamba huu ugonjwa upo, na tumeona wengi ambao walikuwa wanatuambia ya kwamba huu ugonjwa ni mchezo wakianguka, kutoka viongozi wa mataifa mpaka viongozi wa dini na wengine ambao walikuwa wanatuambia tuna shida. Wengine tayari sasa tukiongea wameaga kwa sababu ya hii ugonjwa. Jameni, hata kama wewe huamini ya kwamba huu ugonjwa ni kweli, wewe kama huogopi, wewe kaa kando, usiambukize mwenzako ambaye anajua hatari ya hii ugonjwa. Kwa hivyo hata kama wewe mwenyewe huamini, feel mercy and pity kwa wale ambao wanajua hatari ya huu ugonjwa. Uende ujipange kwako, ukae kwako, ufanye wewe ukienda ukitaka kufanya, but I pray usigojee ikupate au ipate watoto wako au ipate jamii yako au mama, ati ndio hiyo siku utaamini ya kwamba huu ugonjwa ni wa ukweli. Please.
Kwa hivyo ile dhana
so be your brother's keeper, even if you yourself do not believe, on behalf of your mother, on behalf of your father, on behalf of your children, on behalf of your friends, stay away from them. You can continue with your belief, but for their safety, if you care, do that which is necessary to protect them.
Natumai ujumbe umefika, hata wale ambao wako na dhana potovu kwamba sisi ni Waafrika, tuko sawa, tuko ngangari, hiyo dhana imefika sasa hivi.
Amina.
Shukrani.
Mungu awabariki, Mungu awalinde wote na
Mheshimiwa
wasikilizaji wote. Asanteni sana wenzangu.
Asante sana Rais. Tunashukuru sana kwa niaba ya wenzangu pale, lakini pia miezi 9 ijayo unajua watu wamekuwa ndani sana, na hope ile agenda 4 yako maternity utaongeza.
Wajua tuwasema ya kwamba lazima tuhakikishe this time next year.
Yes.
Tumeongeza pesa ya maternity kwa sababu for sure. Nilipitia pale Pumwani, nilikuwa naangalia kazi nyingine, nilikuwa naambia ule tulikuwa naye, nafikiri hii hospitali lazima tupanue kwa sababu itakuwa na kazi nyingi.
Shukrani sana Mheshimiwa Rais.
Mungu awabariki wenzangu.
Well, that's addressed by President Uhuru Kenyatta at State House, Nairobi, speaking to Swahili radio stations. Our sister station, Radio Maisha, had sent a journalist there, and that's why we were able to link up with them. Well, he's addressed very many issues, which we'll be looking at shortly. Rents, people in quarantine, Kenyans abroad, the students and preparation for examinations, his ideas for the Big Four agenda, plight of sports persons, sports personalities, job losses, accountability for the funds and people who are contributing to the Emergency Response Fund, and many others. Let's take a short break at 20 minutes to 9 o'clock. We take a look at weather and then at traffic shortly. Good morning. This is the Situation Room, broadcasting on Spice FM 94.4 in Nairobi, Mombasa 87.9, Kisumu, Nakuru, Eldoret, Nyeri and Malindi.
Experiencing light rain showers around most parts of Nairobi. Still a bit chilly at 16 degrees, highs of 24 and lows of 15 today. In Nyeri at 18 degrees, cloudy conditions all through, and rain expected for most parts of the day with highs of 23 and lows of 16. In Nakuru at 17 degrees, it's going to be partly cloudy for most of the day, 23 the high and lows of 14 with showers expected later. Eldoret at 16 degrees is mostly cloudy, showers expected with highs of 21 and lows of 13. 22 degrees in Kisumu and partly cloudy, highs of 26 and lows of 19. Mombasa at 27 degrees is mostly cloudy, rain expected with highs of 31 and lows of 26. In Malindi at 28 degrees is cloudy conditions all through, rain expected later as well. 31 the high and lows of 26. Thunderstorms the order of the day for Kampala, currently at 21 degrees and mostly cloudy, highs of 25 and lows of 19. Dar es Salaam is partly cloudy at 27 degrees. Thunderstorms expected with a high of 30 and lows of 24. It's mostly sunny in Johannesburg at 11 degrees. Clear conditions to continue through the day. Highs of 23 and lows of 10. And finally in Lagos, it's mostly cloudy at 28 degrees. Showers expected for most of the day. Highs of 33 and lows of 26.
24/7 around the world, non-stop. This is Spice FM.
All right, taking a look at the situation on the roads, light showers still in most parts of Nairobi today. Thicker road heading into the city centre, crawling along today. People are slowing down because of the speed at which the rain is coming down, but it shouldn't be too bad. Uhuru Highway today, all the way from Nyayo Stadium and then touching on Westlands, is bumper to bumper. This can be attributed to the rain, I think. We'll have to see if there's anything else that is causing this particular problem, but there's a bumper to bumper situation. They might want to use an alternate route if you can, otherwise you're going to have to be stuck for a little while. All right, at the Cabanas heading towards the General Motors, there's also a bit of a hold up there. Also realizing that the ICD is still, the road behind the ICD is still being worked on, so a lot of the excess traffic is coming there. Right? Apart from that, it looks pretty good, guys. Wherever it is that you're coming into or leaving from, you should be fine getting in and out of the CBD. Spice FM KE on Twitter. Let us know what you see. But for now, everything looks A-okay.
At 8:45, good morning. This is a situation in this conversation. So we've heard from the president. He's addressed various matters. Very eloquent in his speech. Shoot, whatever question you have, I'm going to respond to it. And he has given a number of responses. Some comments that we are seeing on social media are saying, well, the president is just speaking the way he speaks. You know, he's just responding to questions with words. And where he's put to task.
How else is he supposed to respond?
Where he's put to task, he doesn't basically say, no, this is what is exactly happening. So it's just, you know, in terms of responding with words, he's responded very well with words. That's what
Please bear in mind that he has had this conversation in itself is good. So there are things that we would like to critique, there are things we would like to criticize, there are things we'd like to call out, there are things we'd actually like to condemn. This isn't one of them. The fact that there's a conversation that has been had and the whole nation has been able to hear it, he's provided you with more points where you can hold the government accountable. So you can ask, Mr. President, you said this.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Where is it?
Yes.
So probably what we should be having then is regular, like weekly addresses.
It would actually help if
conversations.
you had them.
Or he takes over from Mutahi Kagwe, like what Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in Uganda is doing. He's the one who addresses. And he basically just calls the journalist and says, all right, so this is what we are doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's something about a position of authority that gives people a level of comfortability when the information coming from them is spoken, regardless of what it is. So it wouldn't hurt to hear him more often, especially when it comes to this, where it's affecting, you know, every corner of the nation and every, you know, everybody in the nation. So it wouldn't hurt. And maybe he can adopt this, you know, with more regularity, hear from him. Whether it is him being given the information, but the people's president is speaking to them and telling them what it is that he would have them know what they want to hear.
Well, it sounded like he's very much aware of what's happening in his government. Like he watches Mutahi Kagwe on a daily basis. He doesn't miss Mutahi Kagwe's daily briefings. So if you ask him a question, he'll respond the way exactly Mutahi Kagwe responded a couple of days ago. And he'll say the same thing. So there's uniformity in terms of what the government is saying. He hasn't come out to contradict or to offer any information that has not been offered before.
And I think his approach is a wise one. You have a minister whose docket is health matters in the country. Let that man also speak. But he should also choose a forum where he, the president, speaks to the citizenry consistently. So we know. Mutai talks every day. He talks once a week.
Yeah, it can't be a flash in the pan kind of thing and not expect him to hear from him again. It has to. I think you have to employ a level of regularity here and say that people should hear from you on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
And it would be something to adopt even after this. On issues whereby people shouldn't have to ask, where is the president? In matters, nobody's asking that you come and have a regular cup of tea every week after this, but regularity with which the president addresses the people who essentially put him in office, it doesn't hurt in any way.
By the way, I've just received a message from someone who works with people who have disabilities, and there's a family they've been trying to reach out to, and they were listening to the show. And they told these people to also listen. So they were listening in. And this is the message that has been forwarded to me. This is a young lady who has a brother who has a Down syndrome. Now, their situation is even more dire because their mother was actually killed by their dad.
Wow.
But this is the message he said. Imagine Mungu amekuongelesha. Nilikuwa nadhani kujua.
Today.
Yes.
Why?
They had no hope. But now they've listened and realized, but
So
there's
they're
hope.
hearing that.
Somebody can have we can
Yes,
start
that
talking
somebody
about this thing.
has taken an interest in this matter and actually addressing it. And they're saying, goodness gracious me. So people actually do care. Remember, that's what we're talking about, hopelessness, which is manifested by despair. Now, this person had despaired. Your mother isn't there. You got a brother with Down syndrome. That requires really specialized attention. And so, it's like you're alone. You don't know what to do. And then you actually listen, and there's a conversation about this very same thing, and there is hope. Now, I read this and I said, goodness gracious me. So it is actually important to talk about these things, isn't it?
It is.
And not
It
just
is
once,
important.
but very, very many times. One of the things that many Kenyans don't know that we actually have a National Development Fund. Let me start the council. We have a National Council for Persons with Disabilities.
Yes.
And there are priority areas. National Development Fund for Persons with Disabilities, cash transfers, albinism, disability mainstreaming, global placement, legal advisory service.
And the council is a legal body, by the way,
Yes,
established under law, right?
Yes,
So it's
NGO.
basically anchored in law. It's not an NGO.
No.
It is a government body established under law. That means it gets money directly from the taxpayers, and it's funded by those operations. So it's mandate, like you've just read again. What's the mandate again?
Then it is the National Development, it's the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. And then I read the priority areas that they have. I was talking about National Development Fund for Persons with Disabilities, 1, 2. Cash transfers for people with disabilities. Albinism, it's a support program. Disability mainstreaming, job placement, legal advisory services.
Yeah.
Now, you tell me, it is a body created in law. It is a body that deals with only people with disabilities. And if you look, it's fairly comprehensive.
It is.
It exists. Now, you see, this is the beauty of it being written. We can then ask, so, okay, thank you.
So what have you been doing?
What have they done?
Yes.
What have you been doing?
Yes.
I can see among the things, the main challenges that you'd find with such a council is resourcing. So the amount of budget that is allocated to the management and running of the affairs of the council, so that it can meet all those programs,
all these needs, all these priority areas.
all those
that they've
priority
set aside,
areas.
yes.
So advocacy, looking at cash transfer for persons with disabilities, looking at job security and securing jobs for persons with disability. You need to give money to that organization so that it's able to do its job. If you find out how much they receive, you'll find that there's an issue with how much they receive. You may also find that there are also still internal issues in terms of accountability for the funds that they receive in the first place, and who checks them.
What you will find is that, like with most institutions that we have in this country, they have really lofty ideals and wonderful ideas, which, if put into practice, would go a long way. But then again, as Eric has mentioned, there'll be a disconnect. You'll find that there's funding set aside for it. When you go to us, and they'll tell you, Treasury hasn't given us all the money. When you ask them, okay, of the money that you've received, what have you done with it? There'll be a gap. So in short, as always, it's not the resources that we lack. It's not even the thinking about it. It's not even putting it on paper. This we do well. Then moving forward from that point, this is what now becomes a talking point and a point of discussion. Because usually what is said and what is done, the disparity is greater than light and day.
And this is where the issues usually come in. Let's still continue that conversation. The plight of persons with disabilities in this fight against COVID-19, right?
Yes.
We're talking about the plight of the adults with living with disabilities, but also the children living with disabilities with special needs. So children have been sent home, schools are closed, and the Ministry of Education has said these children shall go home, they shall continue learning from home. The President has addressed the issue of the exams. He says exams are going to be held. Now, the question is when and how are they going to be held? And that's what he's tasked the Ministry of Education to go and address and discuss that with the Mutahi Kagwe's committee. And then they're going to come and brief him. And he says, when that matter is brought to my attention, then we are now going to say, this is the way we are going to conduct the examinations for Form 4s and Standard 8 pupils. And this is when it's going to happen and how it's going to happen. Still, the issue of right now, as we're talking about students who are going through online learning, students who are going through the radio programs from KICD, people with special needs are not able to access this. They require further assistance. We've talked about to people who are saying persons with visual disability, visual impairment, require further assistance. This thing of just listening to the radio may not work. People who have a hearing impairment will not listen to the radio programs.
No, and this we need to address the Kenya Institute for Special Education.
It's interesting that you say that because, I mean, they just pulled up a report that I remember having seen last year whereby KICD had said that they had taken into consideration children with special needs, and this was at the time of the inception of the new curriculum. And what they had said at that point was that as it was starting, it would be necessary for them to have what they now were introducing as home support officers who would actually go and, provide this same support, giving information on the new curriculum at home for children. So obviously they have the information in terms of where there are clusters of children who have special needs. Now, with the new curriculum, they were now supposed to go and give home-based learning or home-based teaching. It would be interesting to note if in this time where children are being asked to then listen to the radio or do the work online, if these home support, what they're calling home support officers, are actually going and doing this. Still in the time when social distancing has been demanded, it would be interesting to know if they're going about this in this way or if they've employed a different method for this.
Yeah.
Because what we've seen is that the home support officers then have access to their Braille and other forms of material for those who do have special needs.
Other equipment that's required.
Right.
John in Nyandarua, good morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you, John.
Thanks.
Yes, very fine. I'm also fine. I wanted to contribute on that issue of disability.
Yes.
Because, for instance, myself, I have a daughter who is blind. And she's a victim of meningitis. She was affected when she was an adult. She was a teacher.
Okay.
But what I have seen is that the government is not serious about these people. She has never received any assistance from the government. I have personally contributed to her education. You have to pay for her education at the Machako School for the Blind.
Yeah.
You have to buy those equipment. When it comes to registration to get the identity card for these special people, it is very difficult. I have applied for it for almost 3 years, and up to date, I have not received an identity card.
This is just the normal ID card, or what does it require?
There's a special card that shows that this person is disabled.
All right.
But to get it from the Ministry of Gender, it's hectic.
Why is it taking 3 years? So what's the application process? What do you need to submit during application?
You only need to take the medical certificate to the ministry officials. Then they fill their forms. Then you are told to wait for 6 months. You go there after 6 months. You don't get it. I've gone there for I think for over 2 years. Then I just forgot about it.
What's the excuse that they give you every time you go?
They tell you this thing has not come from headquarters. You know?
Yeah.
So you want that.
The headquarters in Kenya.
Start a small thing. Yeah?
The headquarters in Kenya.
Hello? Yeah, the headquarters in Nairobi. Yeah. So because I applied in engineer.
Yeah.
Up to now, nothing has
John,
come.
if you don't mind, we'd like to get a bit more of the detail on this particular story, because this is one practical example of things that are not working. Let's just go into this short break, the traffic break, and then we have the conversation with you, right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so CT, as we go into the top of the hour, remind us today's proverb.
By the time a fool has learned the game, the players have dispersed.
Thank you very much. This is a Situation Room. It's Kenya's biggest conversation. It's now 9 o'clock. Good morning.
Changed much in the last short while. The situation on Kasarani Mwiki Road, however, is quite unfortunate because it was supposed to be constructed a while ago, but was still in the same spot where it was before. And this is causing, even with the very few people that we have on the roads, causing monumental traffic this morning, and the rains are not helping either. The rains seem to be destroying quite a number of roads around the city, and this is contributing to traffic, especially on a wet morning such as this. If you find yourself stuck in a place, please let us know. Spice FM KE. Reach us on Twitter, give us a call, or send a message 0719 012 600. Let's see what you see, and we'll spread the word.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko,
it's now 2 minutes after 9. Just
Nigerian
before we went
by
to the
Kenyan
traffic break, we were hearing from John in Nyandarua, who was giving us the plight of his daughter, who has suffered visual impairment, having contracted meningitis earlier. John had to take his daughter through college. Now he's applying for her ID. And John, you're saying it's been 3 years since you first applied for this.
Exactly. It's about over 3 years since I applied for it at the engineer office. And that identity card would allow her to go to places for her to be identified as a disabled person.
Mm-hmm.
Up to now, this card has never come, this identity thing. I have never received it.
When they say that when you apply, it takes 6 months for the card to come out, during that 6 month period, is there any kind of vetting that's happening? Is there any kind of check? Maybe they're saying that it'll take us 6 months because we have to send an officer to come and verify that this person is who they are.
Well, what you do is, from the hospital, the hospital advises that this person is blind.
Yes.
So you get a certificate from the hospital. So it is that certificate from the certification from the hospital that they check that is approved to them that this person is blind.
And that's all you're supposed to submit.
That is all you're supposed to submit.
I would like to know, when you ask...
You have to go to the local doctor, a doctor from the local hospital has specified that that person is blind.
Is blind. So,
yeah.
In the times after that you went then to check on, what were the reasons that you were given as to why it was not ready?
I am told that this thing has not come
from Nairobi.
From the headquarters. Yeah, from Nairobi.
And if you had suggested, well, can I send somebody to pick it up from Nairobi? Was that an option?
I never suggested that. The best thing is to be frank, because most of them are collected from there.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wondered why it should take so long to get such a small thing. Yeah.
Are you aware, John, whether there are any other people who had applied at the same time as you are doing so, and they have received theirs?
You know, I went alone. So I these people are very few.
And what office is this that you go to in Engineer? What office?
I think it's the Ministry of Gender.
All right.
Yeah.
So these are the social officers at the local level?
Exactly, at the local level.
Can we go a little bit? I mean, you fended for your daughter. I would like to, and until the point where she finished school and on many levels, right? Give us a little bit of shine a spotlight on what it was like sending her to school, what kind of support you received, any kind of government initiatives that are in place right now, and those that you may have come in contact with.
Well, when she was to go to school, that is Machakos. I personally applied for Machakos School for the Blind, so that she may do the braille thing because she was an adult.
Yep.
That's where the adults go. They go to Machakos.
Okay.
And unfortunately, there's only one school, I think, in the country that is only Machakos.
Yeah.
Which again is a disadvantage to these people, to the virtually impaired people. When I went there, it is me who paid the school fees, not the government.
Okay.
It is me who has to buy the equipment, not the government. And these things are very expensive. In fact, the braille equipment and everything.
Yeah.
So I received nothing from the government. Yeah. And I think I think it applies to all. So there should be a special fund for these people because they are few. The government should seriously take care of them.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
In fact, there is a fund that is supposed to go to persons living with disabilities.
Yes.
Right.
And even now, when the president is talking about a 10 billion shillings and 8.5 billion shilling fund during this corona crisis, part of that money should be going to persons with disability, persons who have already been identified as persons with disability. So, really, I think that from the point of A, you should be having an ID by now, and 2, you should be on the database. 3, I mean, she should be receiving this kind of support.
She has never received nothing. She has received nothing.
John, we hear you, and I think we ought to follow up on this matter with the council itself and the Ministry of Social Services. Now I think it's in the Ministry of Labor and Social Services. We're going to follow up on this, on how this program should be operating.
I'll be very, very glad if such a thing is so. Very, very glad indeed. Thank you so much.
Thank
you. Have a good day, John.
Okay, thank you.
The phone lines are still open, 0719-012-600. We are discussing the plight of persons living with disability in the country, especially students with special needs.
What John is giving you a spot-on blow-by-blow report of the reality that he has to face. In 2014, a report by the Ministry of Education in collaboration with the VSO, Voluntary Service Organization, GTOLE, dubbed National Special Needs Education Survey, found that physical infrastructure and resources in many schools were not adequate and relevant for learners with disabilities. A report showing that has been corrected, I could not find.
Hasn't come up.
Let's say I could not find.
Mwalimu Kamau in Eldoret is back. Mwalimu, good morning.
Yes, I feel it is good to be back.
Yes, karibu.
Good, karibu.
Because I'm hearing there are things that you're not understanding. From my part, I have told you I'm visually impaired from my childhood.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, I lost my sight some years ago. when I was in school. Pretty specific in class 7, around there.
Okay.
It is not an easy journey, especially in Kenya, when you're talking about disabilities. There are things that you people, maybe you think you should learn a lot.
We are in agreement with you. There's a lot we need to learn.
Yeah, very many. According to your discussions, I feel that you are still somewhere, and I think COVID-19 is bringing this to light. Because there is this fund given to the National Council. It is supposed to take care of several things, not only education.
Right.
We are talking about mainstreaming and other things. They sometimes pay school fees for some people who are not able to pay. So the council is the one that pays, not the government directly.
So it offers like it's a bursary fund.
It's like a bursary fund whereby you are supposed to apply.
Okay.
You are given it depending on your needs. It pays for children, maybe in primary school, secondary, and even campuses and colleges. It is given once in a year. So you need to apply if you are a person with disability.
Okay.
Mwalimu, do I hear you saying that even those post-secondary school are assisted by this funding?
Yes, but it's not automatic. It must. It depends on your flight, because you are very many who I need. Because you should know that most persons with disability are disadvantaged in several things.
Yes.
In terms of finances and families, most family. I remember in my high school or in my college, at least 95%, 98% of persons who are there are needy. They depend on sponsorship and all the other things.
Yeah.
So the council will receive several applications, and it is not that fully funded with a lot of money.
What you're saying, the funding is actually inadequate. We stop there.
Yes, it is inadequate because it will not only cater for education, it will also cater for other things. Then when you go to school, like my friend John is talking about, for you to get a card, you must be assessed by the doctor, then you fill a form. The assessment form from the hospital, then you fill a form, then you take it to the National Council. The National Council will process the ID card for you.
Okay.
It is given, but I think in the side of John, the problem is at the offices in Engineer. But the National Council headquarters, they have no problem with identity card, and I can talk about that.
So this is actually processed by the National Council, not directly at the ministry. Not a department of the ministry. It's the council itself that issues the IDs.
Yes. When you do your application and they go through your assessment and all that, they will give you a card. Then there are several other things that you need to follow. I think John still need to do a lot of advocacy for that matter, because when he went to Machakos School for the Blind, he went for rehabilitation. When you lose your sight, you must go for rehabilitation to be taught on how you are supposed to survive as a person with visual impairment.
Yep.
That's what he went to do, maybe to learn the braille, life skills, and other things.
Yeah.
In that case, you must pay. The government do not provide that. It's expensive, yes. The government will not pay. I went there. The government will not provide for that. Unless maybe you apply from the bursary from your CDF
From your CDF.
From yes, but the government will not pay that directly to you.
So what you're saying is that somebody has a disability, so life is already difficult for them. So the government provides the facilities which are inadequate, and then they expect you to pay for this inadequate facility.
Yes, it is very. For example, for a person with visual impairment, because I'm talking that per se, because that is the
it's
problem.
Difficult, yes.
Because you need for example, the braille machine. The braille machine is not less than 70,000, and it is just an equipment. It is not a machine that is running maybe that requires oil or electricity. It's more than 70,000. I think one day you people are supposed to visit me and see these are just things, and they spoil very fast. They fall down. Very many of us do not have these braille machines. I'm a teacher, and I'm using a very old one to teach my boys and girls. Braille papers are very expensive.
Do you teach in a school that is deals with special students?
No,
you teach in a normal school.
I teach in a normal school, but the way you are talking about online things. For example, in my school, we are giving assignment through the WhatsApp groups, and the children will do that work, and then they will submit it as a photo to you. Then you mark it. Then you give back the the results to the child. That cannot happen to a person with visual impairment, a child. It
Clearly
cannot.
not.
Right. So I think if just listening to what you've been saying all along, and now at the point where we are at, because look, we talked about the fact that systems need to be put in place, needed to have been put in place. But now with what we're dealing with now, especially with COVID, you are in a unique position. You being a teacher, have you... how are you even going to go through this or to navigate this, whereby you have students who are depending on you? It would be very interesting to see what you are using at this time.
When you get into disability, automatically you become a dependent.
Mm-hmm.
You must depend on someone. 100, even not 100%, almost 95%, you depend on someone.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that is the point that the government do not understand. It must cater for me because I depend on somebody or somebody somewhere. But I will not condemn the government too much because the government provides some disability guide allowance whereby I'm supposed to employ somebody who will be helping me in my work. So I do that, and maybe the person who assists me is with me most of the time doing the marking and all that.
Okay.
But for the child is disadvantaged too much because even the marking of the exams, it's not. I have never took it. Just recently, the KNEC took an initiative and changed it. They said the Braille paper should be marked by Braille teachers.
Who was it being marked? Who was it being marked by before?
It was doing some written over. You write on Braille, then somebody comes and write on it what you have written.
Somebody who doesn't understand the elements of Braille is marking a paper?
Yes, and Braille can provide a dot that you didn't intend to put.
Right.
So you can find yourself failing in a thing that you got.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been...
And it's being marked by somebody who doesn't understand it.
Yes, maybe somebody who was employed to do the debrailing is just a person who learned Braille somewhere.
Okay.
And he wrote on the paper what you have written on there. Then the person is given, the paper is given to mark.
Sort
we
of
have been
transcribed.
going through this thread even in campus and university. Whereby even our papers get lost and you are given, we have been striving, and I thank God that you are going through this through the COVID-19. If the COVID-19 came to bring life to us, then congratulations to it.
Let me ask something else, Mwalimu. When you were trained in the university or college where you were trained, did you have adequate facilitation for your training?
Oh, Mr. City, you know, when you go to university or college, that is the beginning of another hell. Because at least I was in Vika School for the Blind High School. There are materials there, which you may be books and all those. They have tried because that's a Braille school. But in colleges and universities, don't have a special...
you don't have a section that deals with special needs?
Yes, it is there, but inadequate. They have no even textbooks. You depend on somebody to be reading for you. If I'm struggling and I'm a man, what about a child?
When did you graduate, Mwalimu? The reason why I'm asking is because you mentioned something called reading. When I was in university, which was a really long time ago, we were reading. Yes. So you mean people are still reading even now?
Yes.
Okay.
You know what happens? I graduated from my university 2017. And I was in Kenyatta University, whereby at least they have materials, but not enough for that. We depend on people to do these things. When you go to Kenyatta University, for example, they have a special library for persons with visual impairment, but they have no books there, only Constitution and Bibles.
Okay.
We go through hell, mister. And I think one day you are going to find me and talk more and see this light. Yes, because we don't only cry, we have cried and stopped crying and continued with our lives the way it is. For example, right now, the government has tried too much to exempt persons with disability from tax. But I'm employed by the commission, PSC. It is still doing some exemption. It is still doing some tax to us. For example, in the month of March, we are not exempt quite a lot, and nobody is helping us. Nobody is hearing us. Yet we have committed everything to TSC. Please, you can find time and ask them what happened last month. They took tax from persons with disability.
This is pay as you earn.
Yes, we don't pay because there is an act in it is in law that we don't pay tax provided you are receiving 150,000 and below.
Yeah.
So last month we are all exempt. We all paid the tax, and it is amazing how it happened.
And yet in previous months you had not been paying this tax.
Yes, we are crying. TSC is closed. Nobody is listening to us. Nothing is happening. Persons with disability are stressed more than other people in this world.
Poleni sana. Mwalimu, we want to thank you very much for your constant contribution to this. And also for shedding the spotlight on these issues and enlightening us on especially the predicament that you go through on a daily basis.
I think you're supposed to find me one day, then we talk this and make it to be...
Oh, we will find you.
We will find you.
We will find you.
Yes, thank you.
We will have you in studio. Thank you very much, Mwalimu.
Okay, that will work that way better.
19 minutes after 9, let's take a look at weather. The conversation continues. 0719 012 600.
Cloudy conditions in Nairobi for most of the day. 18 degrees currently. We'll see a high of 24. Cool it down to lows of 15 with thunderstorms through most parts of the day. In Nyeri at 19 degrees, cloudy conditions. Rain through most of the day as well. Highs of 23 and lows of 16. It's cooled down in Nakuru as well at 18 degrees. We see cloudy conditions all through. Highs of 23 and lows of 14. In Eldoret, it's mostly sunny at 17 degrees. Rain showers expected, highs of 21 and lows of 17. It's partly cloudy in Kisumu, 26 the high and lows of 19. The rain continues to come down in Western Kenya as well. Mombasa, 28 degrees. It's going to be a rainy afternoon, highs of 31 and lows of 26. Malindi at 29 degrees is cloudy. Rain showers expected throughout the day, highs of 31 and lows of 26. Into Kampala, it's mostly cloudy this morning. That'll change later though, highs of 25 and lows of 19, with thunderstorms forecasted for most of the afternoon. Dar es Salaam at 27 degrees is partly cloudy. Thunderstorms expected with highs of 30 and lows of 24. In Johannesburg at 11 degrees, clear skies this morning through into the early evening with highs of 23 and lows of 10. Wrap it up in Lagos at mostly cloudy conditions at 28 degrees, highs of 33 and lows of 26 with rain in the afternoon.
Classic soul, R&B, smooth jazz, neo soul, and nostalgic ballads.
We're talking about persons with disabilities, the plight of persons with disabilities during this COVID-19 pandemic. On the line now is Nyeri Maria, who's calling from Kiambu. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning. How are you?
We are well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Very nice of you to call.
Thank you. have been following the conversation.
Yep.
And on Twitter, I've been posting a couple of tweets. And I work with children with cerebral palsy in Kikuyu. And on the ground, the situation is quite unfortunate because we don't have the access of information, even how the information about COVID is being broken down to the community is not reaching out to all people with disabilities. And also, you were just talking about funding and how children with disabilities are getting the funding. And I remembered, according to the census 2019,
Yep.
People with disabilities were fewer than they were in 2009. And if the government is using the data they have on the census, they will leave out a lot of people in how they allocate their resources and how they allocate their support system. So, for example, I have cerebral palsy and I am fully dependent of my caregiver. But according to the government, if you have a severe disability, that's the only way you can be categorized to have a cash transfer. But what about the children with diverse conditions who need that fund more?
So are you saying that those ones are not categorized as persons with disability?
Yeah.
People with neuro issues, neuro disabilities or challenges?
Yeah, so that is children with CP, children with autism, children with Down syndrome.
Jerry, could you specify why that is? Why are they not classified as children with disabilities or people with disabilities?
So, according to the census, they were using the Washington Book of Data, which current sorry, please.
It's okay.
We've lost her. John, let's try and get her back online. Jerry, we will want to continue with that conversation with you. In the meantime, let's talk to Dan, who's also calling in from Nairobi. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Dan.
I'm fine. So I wanted just to talk about the issue of this gentleman who called and was complaining about the issue of cards.
Yes.
Yep.
For his daughter.
Yes.
The issue of cards, it has been a problem for many people. But the procedure is that when you have the disability, you go to a district hospital whereby there's a board of doctors who just do the assessment, specifically to assess whether you have the disability, because we have many people who have taken that opportunity and forged documents so that to benefit from what now the person with disability are benefiting from. That includes even the issue of the tax exemption. So the government, I think it's now very strict. So what you need to do after the assessment, the report is forwarded to the Ministry of Health, whereby we have the final report, which is signed by the Director of Medical, services. That report is then forwarded to the National Council for Persons with Disability. Now you are when they receive the report, now you are given the card. The issue of the card, you can get it anytime after the council received the report, because the report will confirm indeed that you have the disability. Yes.
Dan, you sound pretty knowledgeable on this process.
Yes, me too. I'm visually impaired.
Right.
I lost my sight 6 years ago. So I've been helping people go through the procedure. Many people don't understand. The doctor at the hospital, when he gives you maybe a discharge summary and right there that you have lost your sight, that's not enough. After the discharge summary proving that you have lost your sight, you need also to go to this board of doctors, which is always at the district hospital.
So your doctor gives you that discharge summary. You must then go to the board at the district hospital.
Yes, you have a board which is, I think it sits once a month, which now will also assess you because they do not depend on the discharge summary that you have been given by the doctor.
Okay.
And Dan, is this information publicly available, or is it just so that's the thing, right? So you found out because you heard from someone that this is the process. If you go to the district hospital, for example, they're not telling you this is where you must go next.
Yeah,
they don't tell you.
But let me ask the other question also. When you're visually impaired, there are degrees of impairment. Is that not so?
Yeah, there are degrees. We have low vision. We have those people who are low vision, which means they can at least have perception, light perception. They can see, but not far, or it depends. But now, now the doctors will determine. After now, when you go to the board, you will also be assessed. Not that you go to the board, they will assess you at that hospital, and then they give the report to the board now when the day the board is sitting. Which means you need to go, book an appointment, do the assessment, then they make the report ready for the board now to sit, and then you must appear physically to the board. They see you physically, personally, before they make their recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the other thing is that indeed people with disability are facing problems. I have many of my friends who have disability. Now they even don't have food in their houses. And then the issue, recently the president said that there's 500 million for persons who are having severe disability. Something you're wondering, what is severe disability?
So even that is not classified.
Yeah, severe disability, when you go to the social welfare people, the Ministry of Labor, they say severe disability is someone who is bedridden, who can't do anything for him or for herself. Yeah, that's what they classify as severe disability. Like wale watu wako na spinal cord injuries, they can't do anything, wanapelekwa nje, wanafikisha ndani ya nyumba. But the other issue, they don't classify it as severe disability. And that leaves us the question that now this 500 million, zinaendea kina nani? It's an issue we are following up, but I think they'll relook at it and maybe consider all people with disability so that they can also get the help that they need. At this time, those people with disabilities, they are highly affected. They can't go out. Most of them, they are not in employment. Wengine wanafanya biashara, even in town. Wengine wanapea kiosk, wanafanya. But now they can't go. They can't do their business. And these people also have families who depend on them. So unless we help these people, they are facing a crisis.
Who is the
and
body?
they are also paying.
Sorry, Dan, is there a body? Who is the body? Council association that you go to for these regular updates for information? Does such a thing exist at government level now? Is what I'm asking.
We have the National Council for Persons with Disability.
But I'm like,
who is supposed to sensitize?
Yeah.
To sensitize these people, they need to go to the society, to the ground huko chini kabisa, because watu hawana even the information. They don't have the information. The government has not done enough to sensitize people, even those caregivers, on how to help these people, how to access the information. You know, even accessing the information is a challenge to these people. So there's more which need to be done.
Indeed.
Even there is someone who talked about the issue of the tax. Yes, indeed, people have tax exemption, but now wengine unapata tu watu wamekatwa tax, KRA wamekata, employer amekata. Like you ask why? Mungetuambia you need this before you do the
deductions. Yes.
Yeah, wanakuambia yes.
Dan, thank you very much for your contribution.
Oh,
thanks for calling in and keep listening.
I appreciate it.
At 26 minutes to 10, the phone lines are still open. We'd like to hear from you. 0719 012 600. Let's take a look at traffic shortly.
All right, right around now we see that it's looking pretty good. Where we had a hold up on Uhuru Highway seems to be, lessening or thinning out now. It's not as bad as it was before. You're able to get where you're going really quickly today. So probably see heightened traffic in the evening. The rains are going to continue for most parts of the day today from what we've seen from the forecast. So on the roads, you need to be extremely careful. And with the last traffic update in the Situation Room this morning, you need to also make sure that you're wearing your masks in public, guys. As much as you can. Spice MKE, in case there's information that you'd like to share with us, let us know.
Classic soul, R&B, smooth jazz, neo soul, and nostalgic ballads. You're listening to Spice
Elon
FM.
from Narok. Excuse me. Elon, good morning.
How are you?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, Elon.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself.
Hello, you're on air.
Yes. How are you?
We're well, thank you.
Yeah, CT, say hi to CT and Do.
Good morning.
CT and Do say
Good
hi
morning.
to you also.
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
Just self-quarantining.
Good.
That's good.
Yeah, so my name is Elon. I'm visually impaired as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's quite disturbing. We are having some interesting discussion here at Spice FM. And thank you, by the way, because you at least found an opportunity to discuss matters disability.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I feel disturbed personally that there is a parent who is still struggling to get an ID, a disability ID for his daughter.
Mm.
Something that, to me, it is much easier. But you see, that just tells you how the sensitization campaigns for persons with disabilities are so low. Yeah, because the problem is that most of these officers for the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, they work at the central level, at the headquarters in Westlands. That is where you get most of the services. Even though they are saying that the services have been devolved, it might take time for you to get that disability card at the county level. So it is something that you can get it at the national level, at the headquarters there in Westlands.
Yeah.
It will not take you even a day or two. Just so long as you have that medical report, then it's quite easy for you. You'll get it.
So it's something that should actually just take you less than a day.
Yes.
You come with the report from the board, from your district.
The medical report, number one, has to be signed by the Directorate of Medical Services.
Okay, that's at the headquarters.
Not really at the Ministry, Afia House.
Yes, at the Ministry of Health headquarters.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is where you have to get the signature. But even at times, because mine I did get the signature, they might tell you, we'll just give you the card, but make sure that this medical report is appended. The signature is appended so that it gets to be official.
Okay.
Yes. Number two is on these, we're also disturbed by this issue of cash transfer.
Mm-hmm.
It is quite unfortunate that there is a degree of disability that is being given to, those people are supposed to earn this cash transfer, the money.
Yeah.
They are saying that, you have to be, the you have to be having those multiple disabilities.
Really?
But I was left wondering, what of those of us who are still home? Yes, we've gone to the universities, you don't have a job. I think we are going through the same challenges.
Same predicament, yes, you are.
Yes, same predicament.
Yeah.
No matter the kind of disability, whether you are visually impaired, whether you are physically challenged, those disabilities are equal.
Elon, let me ask you.
Yes.
Before we got into this COVID-19 and now the fund that's being released for those people that have now been categorized as severely disabled, before that, wasn't there any money that you were receiving as persons with disability?
No,
cash transfer
there was no money.
Cash transfer for the vulnerable?
No, there was no cash. The cash that they've been talking about it, again, the sensitization campaign comes here. We've been hearing that there was a money that was being given, but we are only being told by our friends from other counties that they are receiving some cash. I don't know, it's their chief who organized who took their names and the cash were being, transmitted to them. But that is unofficial, though I can't confirm. What persons with disabilities, majority of them would only benefit from the school bursaries from the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. And again, it's quite funny because most of the persons with disabilities who receive this bursary are at the university level. You know why? Because they are so informed.
Okay.
So they're able to agitate.
Because they are so informed.
Yeah.
Personally, I got the bursary, and it's you will even find that those who are benefiting from this bursary are even doing their masters. Others are already having a job; they are earning a salary, monthly salary, and they are still supported by the National Council because they are so informed. Now, the persons with disabilities at the primary and secondary school level will not benefit from this bursary easily. The reason being, they are still being attended to by their parents.
Okay.
Most of whom, these parents are not even aware that there is this money. Yes. So if you are at the university level, because whenever, of course, after high school, you become a bit aggressive. You come to realize that you are living a very tough kind of life, and you have to find a way through which you can overcome those challenges. So at the university level, at least,
you're able to access.
With that, with your identity card, you're an adult. You can fight for yourself. So you become aggressive, and even by the time you get that bursary, it might take you a year after application.
My goodness. Elon, thank you very much for calling.
After third year.
Thank you very much, Elon, for calling, and Ashel Ling for speaking to us from Narok. How is it this morning? We know that when it rains in Narok, it's also one of the areas that gets affected by flash floods.
No, it's tough. And that is why some of us will even be at home for more than 3 weeks without, coming out of the compound because it's muddy. Again, if you have a disability, even that white cane that you are being told that we are using it to navigate the environment, you cannot navigate you cannot go through that kind of a surrounding.
Yeah.
It doesn't help you if you're walking in water, does it?
Demanding.
Elon, thank you very much. Have a good day, Narok.
Keep the discussion going.
Asante. We are back online with Nyeri Maria, who was calling earlier from Kikuyu. Jerry, welcome back.
Thank you.
Just before we lost you, you were telling us about the categories of people who are not so far classified as persons with disability.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention about the people in the neurodevelopment category.
Right.
And also people with cerebral palsy and autism and Down syndrome and other conditions. And usually there are no such provisions on how to categorize neurodevelopment. So I'll give you an example with myself.
Yeah.
I have cerebral palsy, but once I go to get an assessment, if I'm more severe, they categorize me as mentally disabled. And if I'm more mild or more on the physical side, they categorize me as physically disabled. So there's always a challenge in how the government or the Ministry of Health categorizes people with neurodevelopment.
So basically, they don't even know whether to categorize the person as on the side of mental or physical, instead of even creating just that and saying this has neuro disability.
Yeah, or cerebral palsy.
Or cerebral palsy, just directly, or just autism.
Yeah.
Jerry, what information have you been able to get about what could come to you in terms of assistance during these COVID times? And not just you as in Jerry, but others who are living with disabilities now.
I have heard of the 10 billion and the 500 billion, but I would like to point out, even before COVID, that people with disabilities never get the cash transfer, and the process of getting in the program is quite tedious for families. So it is quite unfortunate that government has thought and has considered of how to support us, but the question is, how will it get to us?
Okay. I'm going to ask, and I think this is the third time I will ask this question this morning, because it points us in some direction, I hope, Jerry. Who is responsible? Who do you take queries to? A national body? Who do you go to in times when you're looking for answers from a government perspective?
Well, National Council, people with disabilities. They are quite fundamental, but as you mentioned before, they are under-resourced. And of course, they have politics, in-house politics. But also we look into the Ministry of Social Protection.
Social protection, right.
Yeah. They're in charge of giving out the information and their services. Yeah.
Okay.
So even when we're talking about special education, we have the Directorate of Special Education in the Ministry of Education, and it have they considered education.
Jerry, I think we've lost her again. There is an issue with the connection. Oh, yes. There's an issue with the connection with Jerry's line, but I think she's put up a number of issues that she's already said here, and who is it? Whose responsibility is it? So we know that the council is responsible. We also know that the parent ministry, the Ministry of Labour, has some responsibility. We also know that the Ministry of Health has a role to play because that's where the categorization and the classification of a person with disability
It cuts across several
goes,
ministries.
right?
But Professor Kobia takes a huge chunk of this in her ministry. At some point, we may need to look for her to ask her to perhaps tell us what it is that the government.
It's actually in gender. It's in the Ministry of Gender, not
Labour.
Not gender. Rather, it's in the Ministry of Labour and Social Services.
So I'm saying it cuts across because there'll be aspects of what we're talking about that even fall under the Ministry of Education. There'll be aspects of that fall under Labour. This one is cross-cutting.
Look, I think we've just having spoken to 4 people this morning, and you find that a similar thread runs through each and everything that they've been able to testify.
They're more or less telling you the same thing.
They're telling you the same thing, which is why you find that, we said, okay, let's get some kind of clarity here. And it's obvious that there's somebody who's supposed to be doing something. There are certain resources that are supposed to have been allocated, and it is clear that there's a deficit, whether in terms of resources or in terms of action on what needs to be done. And remove COVID, like I think it was Dan who said, even before COVID, and Jerry resonated with the same. Remove COVID, even before COVID. The care and protection that should have been applied was not being applied. Now you add something which is, which would inevitably exacerbate the situation. There's no way that the action is being met.
The same question that we've asked in the past comes in. Funding is allocated. One of our callers even raised the question, where does it go to? Because those of them who are supposed to receive it don't see it.
Yeah, because we're talking about this, it's teeter-tottering between 8.5 billion, 10 billion that's supposed to go out.
Yeah.
There's money that's supposed to be given in terms of cash
is one
handout.
thing.
Even before COVID, COVID, there's money that they should have been getting on a regular basis as a kind of help towards their situation, right?
There's the
even that was not
fund.
happening.
There are quite a number of funds. The State Department for Social Protection, and the PS for this is Nelson Marwa. Remember him, the former regional commissioner for the coast. Nelson Marwa is the PS for this. There are a number of issues that they ought to do on protection of these persons with living with disability. So there is the issue of registration. There is the issue of supporting the council. There is the issue of ensuring that information goes to them. Social protection means that you have social protection officers on the ground that deal with this. And I know for a fact that there are social protection officers per county. So when they're there in a county, because they're the same ones who also deal with the other fund for the vulnerable groups, the elderly and all, the same ones who should be doing those kind of visits to the people. The same way we had the extension officers, agriculture and health and other extension officers. We should be having these social officers going to visit the persons that are in their list. and also just working in the local administration to find out who else, who have we missed out, who do we have on this list that is not on your list as the local chief, as the local the county commissioner. Yeah, it cuts across.
Not only does it cut across, but if you look at it, it resonates even more clearly with this special and specific group of people who usually and rightfully require more attention than other members of our community. So if you have a situation where you're not just casting aspersions, but it is clear that what is allocated to them doesn't get to them. Let's start there. So it means...
On a regular. Forget
COVID.
Yeah, on a regular.
COVID has just brought it out into the open. Then you're talking about facilities that they're supposed to receive so that as other Kenyans go about the business of learning, they are also put on an equal competitive edge. That doesn't happen. Then you go to disbursements. Then you go to care. You actually find that they, apart from just being disabled, the putting into place and ensuring the government policies are enacted have disabled them further. Because what they're supposed to receive, what they're supposed to have access to rightfully, even that they don't have access to. So they are neglected completely. Did I say completely?
You did.
Okay. Good.
You want to say it again for good measure?
No, completely.
Okay, there you go.
So the issue of the cash transfer, there's actually a press release here signed by Nelson Marwa, the PS for Social Protection, dated April 19th, just a couple of days ago. This is on the release of the 8.75 billion shillings for Inua Jamii cash transfer program that was supposed to start this Monday that has just passed on the 20th. Following the directive of His Excellency the President on the 16th of April, the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection has released 8,754,196,000 for payment to beneficiaries enrolled in the cash transfer program, and a further 500 million shillings to clear arrears owed to persons living with severe disabilities. Now, we already know that this issue of severe disabilities is not clear. Who is it that is
what is the
enrolled in
threshold?
this? Or what's the threshold for severe disabilities? And also, what's the threshold for those that go to benefit under the vulnerable group, the vulnerable populations? Is it only people who are above 70 years of age, or does it also cover other people? Because in my thinking, other persons living with disabilities also fell in this category. Well, we can clarify that. So the money was supposed to go to 8,000 shillings. That's what they're going to receive, which is the arrears for January, February, March, and April 2020. So each person is supposed to be receiving 8,000 shillings. How many beneficiaries do we have? 1.094 million people. 1,094,000 people around the country. They are known. They are mapped. Now, we are also hearing that there are some people who are not mapped.
Yes, not mapped.
No, they're not mapped. And if you
and yet we have a national government that works all the way to the village level.
And you have a National Bureau of Statistics that deal with these numbers.
Conducted a census. In fact, that's what Nyeri Maria was telling us. The census for 2019 is showing that the number of people living with disabilities is less than the number of people who were captured in the census 10 years earlier.
How is that?
How is it possible?
How? What has happened?
And then there are children living with disabilities who are out of school. And those are many as well.
Yes.
The figures that you come across, if you look for the information, they talk about currently 100,000. The truth is there are more.
Why can't we just have these schools open?
Now that you mention it.
Because it's a specific cluster. Children living with disabilities. And you know them, and normally they're housed
and they're
in
fewer.
Schools, and they're fewer. Open, let them be sorted out, or go through education in the facilities. They're there. They're not living.
It is a valid question that you've asked.
They're not living,
and they actually need that space.
And they need the space.
Yes, more than what you call the regular students.
Yep.
Right, and you wouldn't be taking them out of something that they're not used to. They're, like you said, they're usually on their own anyway. So I think it would be wise to look into those options. And this is the thing: a lot of action was taken in blanket mode with this COVID thing. Everything was just kind of thrown into the same
were not
pot.
thought of at all.
So
never occurred.
Nobody was regarded really.
Here there's no if even, but please carry on.
Everything was just kind of thrown into the same pot, and there was no segmentation in any way, shape, or form at all. So, and I think that it needed to happen. But unfortunately, such things can't happen if you don't have a plan in place. And so we go back to the very beginning.
This conversation will continue. Let's pledge that we're going to look for the leadership of the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. We'll
Yes.
also look for the
CSs in charge of the various ministries that are cross-cutting in this matter.
Yep. Specifically the PS for social protection,
Yes.
Nelson Marwa. When we get them, we'll bring back this conversation. We're coming to the end of today's show. So let's conclude with today's proverb and now elaborate and tell us exactly what it means. What caught your attention?
Well,
when you
by
saw
the
this?
time the fool has learnt the game, the players have dispersed. What caught my attention was this, the term fool. Most people think it's an insult, but actually it's a description. When other people seem to have figured out what's going on and they've moved along with it, and here you are still asking questions, so what did you say? Now, it could be that you're slow. It could be that you haven't understood it. It could be that you've understood it, but your understanding is not the same as the others. But it points out to several things. One, there's a contradiction here. There are people who don't go with general views, but then there are people who are also slow to learn. There are people who also don't want to learn. Choose the category you belong to.
All right, and that's enough. Enough said. See you tomorrow, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Nduoko, CT Muga, Eric Latif. Now until 2 p.m., Sugar and Spice, everything nice. And then Monique will be here from 2 to 6. And then the adults in the room taking you to sleep.